it was a bit weird because I was replying, but it was happening later on my TV. How have you been, man?
I'm doing all right, man. It's been a dicey week. I, I got
Has
I
it?
got to be honest. Yeah, yesterday we had 6 inches of rain.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
um, that's a not inconsiderable amount.
yeah. Well, actually, not yesterday. It was the day before yesterday, but it went into the late evening. So yeah, man, we were getting a little bit worried because it started pouring rain. I guess somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning, and it didn't
Right.
stop until almost 8 o'clock at night. And everything seemed to be okay at that point. I mean, there was flooding on the highways and all this stuff, and I was like, okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world, you know. If a few things get wet, whatever. And then we're sitting down eating supper around 6 o'clock, and I hear this noise come on. I'm like, hey, what the hell was that? First time I've ever heard it ever. I have a sump pump in my basement. That went from
Oh,
six. That was going from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way until like almost 6 hours. From 6 in the afternoon,
wow.
6 in the evening, all for almost 6 hours. It was going off and on, off and on, off and on all night long. My house, my whole property is built on clay, so I think what happens is a lot of the water just kind of hangs out there for a while, and it's kind of like a
Correct.
delayed reaction. Everything starts sinking in, and then anyway, the house wasn't
Yeah,
able to, the property wasn't able to get rid of the water in time. But 6 inches of rain is a lot of rain.
that is a lot. We had
Yeah,
similar things when we had the last time we had floods out here, but it piles up in all the same places, and you just think, why haven't they done anything about this? It's like it shouldn't be a surprise. We live in the
no,
subtropics and it rains, right? It's like
yeah.
let's
I think.
who's wandering in? We
Oh,
got
we got a.
five with six, five.
Yeah, I
Let
got
me just
five so
check.
far.
I'm going to go up on the big screen, and then that way I can see how many people. And I can see the comments a bit better on the big screen. Hey,
We got
there you go.
Hoggy,
That'll.
Leon.
Oh, if we've got Hoggy, we've got pigeons.
Yeah, we got pigeons. We got to let those pigeons loose.
Or maybe they've already been let loose, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that could be.
Um, I just
Maybe
uh,
the, maybe the pigeons
I just
released
made
Hoggy.
in your honor, I just made my first set of bands with butcher's twine.
Oh, very cool.
So
How did you find it?
I
You find it with the.
little bit fiddly
Oh yeah, a little bit.
because I'm lazy, man. you know, and crystal string wrapped round loosely and then tighter and tighter, and then just tied off with three overhand knots real quick has
Yeah.
always been a lot quicker and easier. And I haven't really cared about. I haven't been focusing on band life, so. But we shall see how long these last. So they're also long draw, and I don't shoot long draw very well or very often, so
Hmm.
they may last. I'm a little more nervous. I don't max them out as much. So.
You may want to. I like when you tied up your constrictor knot. Did you really stretch them? You really stretched them out while you were tying on?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. I've
Good.
got these. These are the bits I cut off the end of each end, so
Okay.
I had enough to wrap round my finger and
And give it a good.
really,
Yeah.
really like tighten it up to the tension that the cord started to,
Yeah.
well, as strong as I could. And that's the other thing, is that's difficult.
Yeah.
The pulling is not easy for me, so I kind of I find it easier with something that just ties up nice and easy. But anyway, I did
Yeah.
that for you. The
Crystal
other
crystal
thing,
string. Crystal string was
crystal
my
string.
go-to. Yeah, it was a go-to for a long time for me. I really
Yeah,
didn't like the amber belt. I found it was too thin. Like I barely feel it in my fingers. I got those working man hands. So it's like they were very heavily calloused. I could barely feel that stuff in my hand. So I was trying to tie it. I'm dropping it all over the place. And I was like, okay. I went to crystal string because it's more of a round shape. You could actually feel it roll in your fingers, right? So while I was
yeah,
tying things up, it was a bit better. But I was getting some weird slipping from it sometimes. Like it would be good in the beginning, and I guess either the band was stretching out or the crystal string itself was losing its elasticity because it wasn't as tight as it was before, and it seemed to be
yeah.
getting.
I've worried about it rolling along the band because it's
Yeah.
round, but it's never had a problem. I've never had one come undone. It's
Oh,
just
I never had one
they
come
do
undone,
break.
but
They break at the tie, but that's
yeah,
tempers.
what I did have it happen was it just sliding in the knot. So I actually did a little experiment. Actually, I should have put this on video. It would have been great. Was I put a little blue line on where the knot ended. So as I was shooting, and as I kept on, letting them rip, slowly but surely that blue line moved from in front of the knot to behind the knot, which can only
Okay.
mean which could only mean that it's actually slipping in the thing. So I'm like, okay, I got to tie it tighter. Tied it as tight
Yeah.
as I could with it, and eventually it still happened. So it could be the quality of crystal string, because for years I used crystal string, never had that problem, and now I'm having it. So it could be a lesser quality crystal string I'm buying. Who
Or it's the
knows?
quality of your band sets and they're lasting too long, or you're not shooting enough.
Yeah, well, who knows?
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Like I love the way
who knows?
the bad workman is blaming his tools here.
Yeah, could be, could be me. Yeah, but
Oh,
after,
so who have we got in? Let's check the chat and see.
we've got 42 in
Christian.
here.
Yeah, Christian. Sorry, everyone. I'm using a big screen over here because you're all so tiny on this little screen. So I set a big screen for myself so that I can read it, because otherwise I've got to have my glasses on and that will annoy me. And I'll keep tipping them down to the end of my nose and looking like a grandfather peering over the top at everyone.
Yeah,
And
mine will be going up and down like a visor.
we got all the usual suspects are in the house. Paul's just arrived.
Oh, very cool. Down under catapults, we got Lone Wolf Caddy
We got
Plinker.
everyone who's anyone.
Yep.
I mean, we had everyone who was anyone as soon as Hoggy turned up, and then Leon joined, and that was it. The house was full. We're all the people that mattered were here. No, I'm kidding. I love you all, guys. I've waited to this moment to unveil the custom ATO merch, which I didn't purchase from you because well, Paul put me to shame by wearing ATO merch, which I thought was surprisingly loyal.
Yeah.
And I decided that not to be outdone by another Brit, that I had to do similar. So, but because I'm cheap and because shipping is so expensive, so I made a t-shirt, right? So
Cool.
So I'm wearing the custom ATO breakfast t-shirt, right?
Late night breakfast coffee with ATO.
There you go.
So awesome.
I didn't have it is, in the interest of transparency, it's an old t-shirt turned inside out.
Oh.
So it's even cheaper than you thought it was. The seams are therefore very visible. And I did make sure that on the back there was something appropriate as well. So is that visible?
Yeah, just go a little bit to your right. There we go.
Like that?
All I got was this lousy t-shirt. That's freaking awesome.
So there you go. That's the best I could do, guys. Sorry, I was outdone by Paul right from the word go.
That is above and beyond, my friend.
But this is the well, no, above and beyond would be if I'd actually been not so cheap as to only use a black and to go and buy a red Sharpie, right? And actually do it properly. Or to draw the maple leaf symmetrical instead of all crooky, because I wasn't focusing and doing very well.
But to be fair, that is a stupid leaf, and it's almost impossible to draw. So,
well,
I've tried it a bunch of times.
If I'd been paying more attention, I should have been able to do it. But I did the stupid thing of, instead of doing either side and making sure it matched, I went round. And that's the mistake all the noobs make, is try and draw around it, because by the time you get to the third leaf, you're like, how did I get this so out? It's like it's going off this way or something.
Back in the day, I used to I pimped out one of my axes. I completely stripped it down and I redid it, and I put a whole bunch of burning into it. And I did a maple leaf. The first time I did it, I was like, oh no! I had to sand the whole thing down again, and then I went full cheap. I got my cell phone set up with a maple leaf on it. I put a little piece of paper over it and I traced it, and then I used that to draw it back on and burn it in. And it looks perfect, but it's like, man, that was tough.
Yeah, that's what works.
Yeah.
Paul just said I could have at least tie-dyed it. I could have worn a tie-dyed T-shirt. That would have been the alternative, but it had a different set of logos on it for a different event, and it's not related to slingshots in any way, shape, or form. What am I shooting today? What are we shooting today? Well, firstly, it is very late here, so I had to think very hard about how I was going to achieve any sort of shooting without having the neighbors come over and kill me, basically. So what I've done, I actually achieved it. So what I've done is I've taken the screen out of the window. So there's no insect screen in my window here. I'll open the window. And this one. Look, it's a wiffle ball. So I've hung a wiffle ball off the deck, and I'm going to shoot it through the window from here, from the chair.
That's genius.
Because that way I don't have to move, and that's basically exactly 10 meters from where I'm sitting now to that wiffle ball is 10 meters, and that's a 42 mil target. So we're all set up, mate, and hopefully it won't make too bad a noise because I'll be shooting it with clay. So it'll just make a nice, annoying clicking noise if I do hit it.
And the wiffle ball.
Who knows? We might get an inquisitive possum or some other strange Australian wildlife coming to investigate.
Totally
there is
cool.
one that hangs around up there, so you know.
Oh wow.
So who knows? He may come down and annoy me because they are annoying. But hey.
Oh yeah. Do they cause damage to your art or anything like that, or are they just kind of there?
They're just present. There. They're cool, but they're I mean, if you're trying to grow anything, they're entertaining little gut buckets, mate. They just eat it. Yeah, they love raiding anything that you're growing. So you have to cover everything and keep it. But they also don't like to climb up fences. If you get chicken wire and put it at the top of your fence pointing outwards, they try and climb up and it starts to fall backwards. And that freaks them out a bit, and they don't like that. So it's not a total deterrent. If there's any branches hanging over, they'll just jump off the branch and land on the floor and then proceed to eat everything. I had an entire sage bush destroyed, and a big sage bush. I'm not talking like a plant, I'm talking a bush of sage. And a possum destroyed it pretty much overnight. One possum. We didn't see him again for a couple of weeks, but I imagine, laid there like this, with his stomach like this,
rubbing his belly for a couple of days.
That seemed like such a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know how anyone could eat that much sage, but this possum managed to. He enjoyed it.
So. Yeah. Maybe it took him out. Who knows?
Who's asking about drop bears? This is ridiculous. Ridiculous questions. Drop bears? What about drop bears? What about drop bears?
What are drop bears?
Drop bears. Drop bears are terrifying creatures that live here in Australia in the trees. They look like koalas, but they're not koalas.
Oh.
Very dangerous, and they drop down on you and devour you. Or
really?
So the saying goes. The saying goes.
So the saying goes.
But it is a good thing. It's another one of those ones that they like to present to tourists who are ill-informed and convince them that Australia is even more dangerous than everyone thinks it is.
Than it really is.
Yeah, which it isn't really. I mean, it's actually no more dangerous than anywhere else, really. But we've just got to.
I think you guys got wacky spiders, right? Wacky spiders and some snakes that are pretty bad. Like that's the big deal.
Well. Yeah, well, I think we've got 8 of the 10 most deadly species in the world. I think that's why everyone gets terrified. But it's like, how often do you meet them?
Yeah,
never. So it's like, I mean, you guys have copperheads and rattlers and all sorts of amazing snakes out in the Northern American landmass, which I would,
we have almost no snakes up in Canada. We got nothing.
It's too bloody cold, mate.
Yeah, there's only one section, very, very south of Ontario, It's probably our southernmost part in Canada where we do have I can't remember what kind of rattler it is. It's a Massasauga or something like that. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the only spot that we have those, and the their numbers something like 2,000 of them that they know of. It's not
Right.
really not much. Yeah, but I mean for us in our case, I mean we got wolves and bears, right? So that's
Yeah,
the that's the big thing.
exactly.
But it's even the wolves and bears.
Spider or bear. I think
Yeah,
I know which one I'd rather take on.
but
Right?
yeah, but
It's like,
you know what? If it's in between bears and ticks, I'm taking bears.
yeah, they're somewhat more obvious.
Yeah, they're
You
more
know,
obvious. They're
if
easier
you
to deal with.
if you meet a bear, you know you've met a bear. Whereas normally you don't even notice that you had a tick until after the whole horror has
Yeah,
occurred. Same
yeah,
with leeches.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're a good time.
Ticks, mozzies, and leeches. Not There's three species that I probably could comfortably do without. But
Oh,
we
100%.
get we get we get leeches and ticks, and we get all three: leeches, ticks, and mozzies. But
Yeah.
it's but we don't get bears. But we do get spiders, and we do have a lot of snakes.
Oh, and they're
But
so cool. I
yeah,
love snakes.
they don't. Yeah, and it's like it's the standard approach. Leave it alone,
Yeah,
right? Don't go and poke it. Don't try and kill it, right? Just leave it alone. Let it
yeah,
slither off. Don't poke its nest, right?
yeah.
Don't
Exactly.
annoy it. Don't. And if it comes at you, run away, right?
Yeah,
Just go. I've got legs. I'm gonna show you why legs are still a good idea, and you run as fast
yeah,
as you can, right?
yeah.
The only people I know who've been bitten by snakes. I only know two people who've been bitten by a snake over here, and one of them. It was his own snake, and he just wasn't paying attention.
Oh,
And it was his admission. He said, "I lost focus for a split second, and that was the split second in which she tagged me on the hand." And the other person was climbing over a log and put his hand on a snake that was just resting
just
in
didn't
a
see it.
hollow, and he
Yeah,
didn't see it. He didn't clear the path. It's a bit like when you climb in the Sonoran, you don't put your hand up on a ledge without checking what's there first. If you can, you don't just reach up
yeah,
because you put your hand on a rattlesnake or something fun,
yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah. You never
yeah,
know.
so that's it. And I've lived here 17 years, so I've seen
Um,
plenty of snakes, and I've been very close to plenty of snakes, but I've never had a problem with any of them. So
I guess as
it's
long
common
as you keep
sense.
your eyes open. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
out for us, out where I'm at, bears are the big scary predator out here. Bears and wolves, I would guess you'd say. The biggest thing
yeah.
I'm scared of, though, is actually running into a moose or a deer and rut because they get horny and they're ready to fight anything they can, and they go a little batch. More moose than deer, but they're no joke. They're no joke.
That's a headline, man. That's a headline. Mark versus horny moose.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
where did that come from? We started talking about horny mooses. I bet you anything the chat has gone crazy.
yeah.
Look at them all. Look at them all. They're just having a party, and we're ignoring them. Let's go back where we had drop bears. Do we have drop? Do we have drop bears down here? Yeah, we do have drop bears down here. We've discussed that, right? Okay, and then Chris tried to help me, getting people to Google drop bears. Yeah, drop bears. You never see the drop bears, Al. If you see the drop bear, it's too late. People talking about snakes. That was us and other people. Cool. Spiders in Oz hide under the toilet seat, waiting for a sack to bite. Paul has been read. Paul, you've been watching way too many horror films, mate. You need to take a break from creature horrors, creature flicks, and then like It Came from the Spider Web and things like that, all those classic B movies. Because it's not like that. Although we
No.
like people to think that. Oh, Sean's headed out. He got bored with us. I don't blame him. I totally forgot that we were actually meant to be having a conversation with other people as well, Mark. We started, we went off on a bit of a tangent there. That's what happens when you feed me coffee at at like 9:30 at night.
Yeah, you're not sleeping for days now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't lower the conversation, Paul.
If you're Googling
Leon,
stuff, do you get lemon parties out there? I don't know what a lemon party is either. No idea.
oh, have I caught up? I don't know that I can. Did I even? I can't even see that. Lemon parties?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
from
there we
Paul.
go.
There we go.
Ah, yes. If you're Googling stuff, do you get lemon parties out there? Lemon parties? What are you talking about, mate? You're mad, you are. What's going
Lemon
on?
party.
I thought, is that some?
Don't Google it, he says. Okay, no problem.
Oh,
No,
don't
no
Google it.
Googling.
Oh, all right then. Yeah, I won't, mate. I'll take your word for it. I'll let you have taken one for the team.
Well, thank you for that,
Dave's here.
Paul. And I'm actually going to warn you about something too. If you're ever with your kids and you're doing some cooking and you're looking up for chickpea recipes, be very careful which link you click. Just a warning from ATO, okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Chickpea recipe. I mean, I already know most of the chickpea recipes that I'd want to eat, so
yeah,
I don't need
good.
to look them up. But yeah, maybe it'll be fun next time someone says, "Oh, that chickpea recipe, what was that?" It's really fun. I'll just Google it.
Just Google it. Yeah,
Mark says, just Google it. Make sure your kids are there and just Google
yeah,
it. Right?
yeah. It was actually pretty bad. We pulled that up. I'm like, chickpea recipe. Boop. Go to images. Just whipped my phone. I didn't have time to find the button. My son was like 6 years old, right beside me. I'm like, holy crap! Phone went flying across the kitchen. What was
So
that,
what's the
Daddy?
recepe?
Nothing.
What's the recipe then, Daddy?
Yeah.
No, we're having something to.
No, we're doing
We're having
cornflakes tonight,
chicken
son.
again. Yeah.
It's cornflakes
Did I say
tonight.
chickpeas? I meant chicken.
Yeah,
It's chick. I just you misheard me. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't go well.
So, I also brought some snacks out to keep everyone happy.
Ah, nice.
Got some Tim Tams here, and I'm going to make myself a hot chocolate later probably, and a Choquito bar. Choquito.
Oh wow.
Do you guys
I've
get?
never,
You guys
I've
don't
never
get
seen these.
Choquito.
No, never seen them.
Yeah. So Tim Tams are an Australian staple, and Choquito is like a chewy by its own blatant advertising is a chewy caramel fudgy crunchy balls and loads of chalk,
Mm,
but
it sounds
it's
pretty good
nice.
though.
It's kind of like crunchy biscuit bits in and lumps of caramel fudge in chocolate. That's what it is, and that's
Sounds
kind of the
wonderful.
bar as well. Normally you get it in a bar shape, but I like the old-fashioned chocolate bar, which I can break pieces off because I'm English, you know.
How's it
Who have
going,
we
Aaron?
got?
We got Aaron in the house.
Aaron.
We got Rick, Hillbilly Slings and
Good to see
Wares,
you,
my
brother.
buddy Al, Dave.
Rick's there.
I see
And we
D's coming
did.
here.
We have all the usual suspects. Awesome.
Double D's. What's going on, brother?
D's. Good to see you.
Iggy. Got to get the coffee
Yeah, we
going.
haven't
Lemon
started
parties and job
talking
fairs.
too much interesting slingshot stuff yet. We've been babbling our usual mix of demented senior person moment stuff.
It's good.
But
It's good for the chat. I think they enjoy it.
I think it's always entertaining for them to watch me out on day released.
Yeah.
So when they on the rare occasions they let me out, the rooster is in the house. Rooster Meister.
Yeah. Damien.
Awesome. So I'm going to make an admission now that there's some other knife guys in the house that I am not a knife guy.
Oh.
Okay. Never have been. Never really kind of like, to me, knives were a really annoying Victorinox that I couldn't open 90% of the tools because it used to break my nails off. I just never got into them and didn't have a use for them. I grew up in middle class suburban England, where if you were carrying a knife, you were arrested. So it's like, I just never got into them. And then I was going camping with the family one year, and I went, you know what? It'd be really useful just to have a belt knife. So I went and bought a belt knife, right? But I didn't know anyone who was into knives, and I didn't really check the internet and didn't deep dive it. I was just one of those spontaneous, I'm near a camping shop, we're buying some sleeping bag covers or something, and I'm going to get a knife. And I saw this knife in the thing, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I quite like that. So I bought it, right?
Oh, very nice.
Okay. And yes, it holds beautifully, and the blade is really quite thick, so it's a real kind of log chopper. It had a nice, it's drop tip, it's easy to control, and blunt on the first use. The single softest steel blade I've ever come across. Like if I sharpen this, it'll hold an edge for milliseconds.
But what's the steel on it? Do you know?
I have no idea. But I would suspect that it's just really, really cheap.
Wow.
And really shit. So that was my foray into knife buying. That's the only knife I have. So I thought I'd show you that so you could all mock my shit knife buying skills. But then recently I realized I didn't actually need a knife. What I needed was a multi-tool.
Yep.
Because that's actually more useful to me. I find myself needing a pair of scissors or a pair of pliers or a pair of snippers or a Phillips head screwdriver or whatever, much more than I find myself needing a knife, because I'm not an outdoorsman.
Those pliers
right?
are a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought this because I looked at the Leathermans and I went, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Because I'm cheap, hence the t-shirt and the, the nature and the way I look, the fact that I do my own hair, right? So I bought one of these, and I don't know whether you're aware of the brand, and I'm not affiliated with them, but I have been enthusiastically recommending them as a cheap EDC purchase for anyone who wants something that they don't mind if they lose it, and it's not like, oh, I spent $490 on a Leatherman and then dropped it down a drain, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the 2 Roxons that I have.
Oh wow. I've never heard of this brand. Yeah.
Yeah. So
oh, very cool.
D2. This is the elite. They do 2. They do one that is like cheap ass steel. I think it's 5CR15. And then they do this one, which is exactly the same, but with D2 blades. They're moving to D2 for all the blades, and all the tools are still the cheaper steel. But
D2 is actually a good option for you guys, because if you're near a coast, that should rust much, much, much less. That'll be a good.
Yeah, so
it's kind of like a semi-stainless.
So what I also like is for me, which is the thing I talked about with the Victorinox, where this prizing tools out of a groove was like, oh, please, it just hurt. It was just not comfortable. This has this awesome one-handed release, like on here, and it just pops the tools up, and they're locking. So when you get the one you want, it locks out, and then you release it with the same clip.
And they got the good can opener design on there too. That's the good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's spring-loaded too, eh? Look at that.
Spring-loaded pliers with snippers, removable snippers, and they give you free extra snippers. It's got a bunch of other tools, including a flint and a whistle, and and I think that one was 68 Australian delivered.
Wow. And what would have been a Leatherman?
Oh, the equivalent Leatherman was something like 389 or something.
Ooh, man, that's crazy.
Or 289, something like that.
Something like that.
With the same number of tools and the same thing, and the pliers aren't sprung loaded.
So that's like a Leatherman wave or something, right? I'd imagine it's probably that model.
That's like this is like 40 US delivered.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's nothing. So then I So I went, that's all right, that is, but it's a bit bulky to carry around all the time in my pocket. Like it isn't if I'm going out, if I'm going camping, or I'm going to do something where I think I'm going to need that, it's worth taking. So I bought this one because, why not? And this one's even cooler.
It sounds like somebody's turning into a multi-tool guy to me. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So that'll slide right in the pocket real nice with a clip.
Yeah, little G2 scales, and again, D2 blade, just a, whatever, 2-inch.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
But this one blew my mind because this one has a full size pair of scissors.
Holy smokes! Oh, yeah,
really good scissors as well. Not like shit scissors, but they're really good. And I'm like, that's just awesome. That means I've got a pair of scissors with me all the time, and not one of those stupid tiny little, like those little tiny plastic handled ones where the handle just breaks off just when you don't need them to, and they don't cut anything because the blades bend and separate. And so, and it's got the same thing with the tools, But this one came with a complete expansion set for the screwdriver as well.
Oh my goodness!
All for the princely sum of about 28 US delivered.
You're kidding.
No,
and where are you finding these?
$47. Amazon. I'll send you a link privately if you're interested, mate.
Yeah, I am.
Because
I am.
that,
I like
to me, that is something that, like anyone who's into having a small pocket knife on them, like a very, like a Swiss Army. Anyone who carries a Swiss Army, you get the Swiss Army with a kind of nicer, more contemporary design. You've got the button flip on the knife. You've got most of it's one-handed operation. There's no prizing stuff out of.
This is a perfect slinger's kit. I mean, you got all those little bits. Yeah, for playing with your clips. You can trim off your bands, all kinds of things.
Turtle. The brand is Roxon. Roxon, I think. Let me just check. Roxon. Yeah, there you go, bro.
Roxon.
I believe I think they're an American company as well. I don't know. Or they may not be manufacturing in America, but hey, who is?
Like everybody else.
But I believe I think they're based in California, off the top of my head. But their website has all their stuff on it, and the latest range that they're doing is they're working on a range of like completely customizable tools, where you essentially just buy the case, and it comes with 2 long slots, 2 short slots on each side or whatever, and you just buy the tools you want and clip them in with their patented clip mechanism that just holds them all in place. And then you can put spacers in, so you can basically keep a collection of 50, 60 tools and just go, I'm going fishing this weekend. I'm going to have a filleting knife. I'm going to have a drop tip knife. I'm going to have a threader. I'm going to have and you can just put a bunch of stuff together, and it's solely for your fishing, right? And then the next week you're going hunting, or the next week you're going camping, or the next week, and you just change the tool up. It's the same tool every single time, but you just, one week it's got pliers, one week it's got scissors, the next week it's got whatever. Which is a great idea.
Yeah, but
and the blades, totally different blades as well, like different blade profiles. So you can just buy a pack of different blades.
I'm in so much trouble. I'm gonna fall down that rabbit hole. Terrible.
I'm sorry, Mark. Oh man, I was like, you're one of the few people that I was really super excited to show this to, and now I feel like I've created a monster.
Just wait for this video. Welcome to another episode of Pimp Your Pocket Knife. Oh man.
That'll be it.
Terrible.
It'll be you going like, this week reviewing the KS2 Plus Elite from Roxon. Rock. You can do all those like 80s video transitions.
Yeah.
Where like a rocker's Roxon, get your Roxon. But yeah, the expansion kit is like, Ethan, see, some people have already seen this because I've already gushed about this to a couple of other members of the family. But Ethan wants me to show you the extender So firstly, it is a full-size Phillips as well. It's not a half-size one, which is great because I hate those half-size ones. They shit and they just don't work. And then this just slots on the end, and then you can put whatever you want on, whichever one you want. And like you say, it's a Slingshot dream because it's got the standard hex keys and whatever you need on it.
Perfect.
It's even got those stupid little star ones that Apple use, and you know, that are meant to be security, whatever. The star-shaped heads are just, you know, why can't we just standardize everything?
Yeah, it would be great.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to stop now before I become a grumpy old man on your stream this early on.
Let it rip. I don't care.
When I were a lad, oh, now I'll be really annoying the neighbours because the window's open and I'll be shouting. Okay, I'll stop now. Put these away. Anyway, I've shown you those now. That's all the knives. So excitement really over. Nice. You can all leave now, people. But yeah, I'll send you the link to those, man, because they're really good. I should get some sort of commission on them, but I should contact Roxon and just go, I know nothing about your products, but I really like them. Can I have a discount, please?
Yeah, send me a couple so I can review them for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll review them. Look at my massive subscription. I've got like 86 subscribers.
Yeah, I need two.
I'm an influencer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, here we go. Ethan's paying out on me. We talked about it for about an hour. Yeah, that was an hour that you could have been working on my Slingshot.
Oh.
Just kidding. Adam, I use one of those star ones when you're fixing PCs. Exactly, mate. They hide ridiculous little star-shaped screws in annoying places, and then you go, I don't have one of those annoying screwdrivers with a star, and you try it with a hex that's slightly smaller, and it never works.
No.
And it just all it does is strip the star, and then you're like, oh god, what have I done? So
and I'll check it out, Paul. I see 52 bucks.
Paul, oh god, I've created two monsters. I've created it's like Roxon will be, why are we suddenly getting all these purchases? We've sold like 3 units in 2 years, and 2 of those were some stupid bald Brit in Australia. And now there's like 1 million Canadians queuing up to get their Roxon multi-tools.
That's like 3/4 of our population up here.
That ATO, him and his channel.
Get your rocks off the boots and.
That's it, Paul. So I should get my glasses. Really, this is ridiculous. Oh, I've got a pair here. I knew I'd leave them around somewhere. There we go. There's another one. We can do.
There we go.
Look at that. We look super intellectual now. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a bit late for. Well,
what are you shooting today? What do you got shooting?
What am I shooting to do? Well, I decided that I would, since I'm trying to hit a wiffle ball in the dark, from inside when it's outside through a window without annoying the neighbors, with the last of my clay, I thought I'd choose something that I got most chance of hitting with, which at the moment is my Unifox for some reason. And I think I know the reason.
Oh,
because it's 85 mil and I've lost weight. So my anchor point has ridden up by just a fraction. It's just like whatever cover I had on my cheekbone isn't there quite as much. And so my anchor point's gone up by like 0.5 mil or whatever, which means at 10 mil it's out by, a chunk. And by dropping it down 5 mil, I can, or 5 mil, sorry, it comes out the same. So,
and that's a real thing too, because I noticed that too when I dropped a bunch of weight, but luckily I found it.
Yeah. What, the weight or found a new anchor point? So there's a bunch of unattractively stored slingshots here, but this is the one. This is the one I'm going to shoot. So,
oh, very nice.
With a lanyard not made by the awesomeness that is Leon, but made by the malcoordinated arthritic hands of yours truly. So So that was my first foray into making a lanyard, which I made, and then I went,
Looks great.
yeah, that's a lot of fiddling around with my thumbs, and it hurts, and I can't be bothered. I'll just get Leon to make me some at some point. So yeah, I'm going to have a go with that and see how I do. I did think about trying to make it even more stealth by putting tubes on it. I thought, like, why add any more variables to the equation? I'm already shooting at OTT, and I have not shot this frame OTT at all. This has been a TTF frame exclusively since I've owned it, and I banded it up OTT especially for the occasion. I'm trying to minimize the chance that I show myself up horrendously. It's like people just watching me blow 200 rounds of clay ammo at a wiffle ball I have no chance of hitting, that sort of thing. It's like, well, Adam, yeah, you're really coming on, mate. They run out of ability, they run out of the ability to big you up when you really are crap. So you have to hit at least once or twice. So they're like, good, mate, you didn't hit at all last time. But so that's my plan, is shooting that one. But I'm happy to embarrass myself with any of my frames. You guys can just choose away, except for this one, right? This I'm not shooting this tonight, only because I am not going full butterfly with tubes on camera. Right? So it's only 10 meters, Turtle. It's like it's just out there, buddy. I'm not trying to, I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything here. It's just I'm just shooting from 10 meters in this room, out through a window, across a deck, and then hitting a wiffle ball tied up on the support post of the far side of the deck.
That's awesome.
Nothing any self-respecting slinger wouldn't do in the interest of making Mark's channel as entertaining as possible.
I used to shoot in my basement all the time, and then I had the unfortunate occasion of ripping a shot right through my my catch box and poking a whole bunch of holes in my wall behind, and I didn't even notice at first.
Yeah.
It was just, you got a good echo in the basement, whack, whack. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I hear one hit, ricochet off my ceiling, come back down and roll right at my feet. I'm like, whoa, what happened there? Pull back the thing, and I got like a 40 mil circle cut out of my gyp rock on my wall. And
it's just like this big macerated exit wound in the gyp rock.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I've got a really bad honey, we've got a really bad rodent problem.
Yeah, he's leaving these little silver balls all over the place. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. Move the catch box. Have you been slinging downstairs again? No, not me. No, it's rodents.
Yeah, it's rodents.
Brilliant, mate.
Yeah, she was not happy with me.
Yeah, we all have those little accidents where things ricochet in strange directions. I was trying to set up going the other way, like all the way up to my bedroom, across the house, thinking, right, if I can line it up right, I can shoot right across the house, past the pot belly, like the wood burning stove, for like, and I can shoot past the chimney breast of that, and through this gap to the doorway of my bedroom, and I can sling up a catch bag in that doorway somehow. I don't know how, but I'll do it. Right. So I spent about 2 hours this afternoon trying to engineer some, just basically jimmy some set of crust. I mean, it just ended up looking like Spider-Man had gone a bit berserk, and there were cords everywhere trying to hanging off the most ridiculous, oh, well, if I just ram it into the hinge and then shut the door, that'll hold it. Right. And then this end, I can just wrap it around the corner of the door, just the corner, and hope that it stays open against the magnetic holder. It's that first shot. It pulled the door closed, and the whole thing just collapsed in on itself like some sort of mad, demented spider web, and I gave up.
And this new option that you have here through the window looks much safer.
I've lost your sound, mate.
Am I back?
I don't know. Can everyone else hear ATO?
I can hear you.
Can everyone hear Mark?
Can everybody hear me, or have I gone?
It might just be my earpiece. Hang on. Try again, Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Must have been my earpiece. I give up.
Oh.
I'll just have to. I'll have to listen carefully.
It's really
now my phone is making the noise, which is it's on maximum volume. So.
It might be picking up some of the weird background noise here. I've got the highway in behind me, so maybe it sounds a little bit funny or not. No,
it's just technology and the critical needs sensor. You know, we need it to work, so it's not going to work.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of normal. I tried to actually go live. I tried to actually go live earlier on, and it didn't work. It wouldn't send you the link for some reason in the beginning. And I was like, what the hell's going on? I had to back out everything, and then I went back in and did it a second time. I don't know if you got a notification saying ATO's live, but
didn't get the notification, but saw the video appear in my feed, and I'm like, hang on, Mark's going live without me. It was like going live with Slingshooting Downunder, and I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going live on your own, mate. Have fun. I was just going to watch. I was going to lurk and just watch it and watch you fumble and go, I don't know. There seems to be a problem with Adam's bit. He's not coming on. We're waiting for him. He'll be in, and I'll be commenting, just going, well, he's taking his time, isn't he? God, it's like these unreliable Brits.
But when I set it up the second time, I sent it to you. I did everything worked. It appeared to have sent, but it didn't really send. And I'm like, okay. He just told me he's ready to go anytime I am. What the hell's going on? So I ended up going back out of the YouTube thing, went into the messenger, found a thing, and just as I clicked on it, I saw you. It went sending, sent, delivered. I'm like, what the hell? Went back and I was able to get everything.
YouTube, we love it.
YouTube.
Greasy Potato. Who is the guy on the right? I'm me. You're you. He's him. And we're all here having fun. My name is Adam. I live in Australia, and I am not Australian. Yeah, it's Simon Pegg. There you go. It's famous. It's Simon Pegg and Simon Pegg's mate. Chris, you're not meant to laugh at that so immediately. You're meant to wait, right? Just wait. God. What am I paying you for, Chris? Adam is the best. Rob, you're the best, buddy. Thank you. That's lovely of you to say. I appreciate you. You always yes, hit the
Yeah, here, give me a high five. Hit it twice. There we go.
Oh, maybe can I do it?
Yeah, sure.
If I'm in the live?
Oh no, I don't think so. It doesn't work for me.
No, it doesn't work for me. I'll have to do it on the computer. There you go. I gave you a like.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I know. It's all just for show, isn't it, really? I mean, we hate each other, really.
Yeah.
It's just for the algorithm, Mark.
It's all about the algorithm.
Yes, just feed the algorithm, brother. Feed the algorithm.
Yeah.
So what about you? What are you shooting today?
I got 3 with me today.
Guys, Iggy Cacti. Yeah, nice to meet you too, brother.
I've got the Aries with me.
He's got the Aries.
Yeah, got the Aries.
Which one is that? That's the Omega. Is that the Tim Henry?
Yeah, it's a Tim. Yeah,
that's Tim's one. Yeah.
I got the Medusa HD.
Ooh.
All dolled up in some.
That literally looks. If there could be a Viking slingshot, it would be that, wouldn't it?
Came out cool with the bank line with the wrap. I'm gonna do a video on this. I had some people ask me how I did it. It's pretty simple, really.
And that little cross you've got at the top where it loops through, that little kind of like garter cross. Yeah, that's what makes me think of like sort of first millennium.
I actually tried to do another one down here, but I was going to put an X and an X down at the bottom, but I came down a little bit too far. But I may adjust that in the video. We'll see. But it's got a nice little lanyard on it and everything too. Works out good.
That's cool.
And the third one, because I enjoy embarrassing myself so much, we're going to be shooting a pickle fork. Yeah, it should be fun. We'll see how it goes.
Get thee behind me.
Yeah, I got a video being prepared for this one. I'm in the middle of drafting it out at the moment. We'll see how it goes, but how I'm approaching
Yes.
learning this. So
Yes, we will. And
yeah,
thank you for taking one for the team there, because
yeah, no problem. I
I
tried
won't be shooting one of those anytime soon.
I tried taking one for the team, learning how to shoot high style, but I got really tired of shooting myself. So I was like, you know
Yes.
what? High style is like, if I translate that, it means like dumbass trying to shoot a way that's not proper. that's that's pretty much what it means to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is just
Bless you,
dangerous.
Zach.
Yeah.
Love you too, man. So
So that
yeah, I decided the speed shooting thing. Essentially, I for a split second I was foolish enough to think that that might be something I could do, and one handful of palmed ammo proved otherwise, and I was like, nah, ain't gonna work. Just not. And then I literally turned on my computer, and there was Andy shooting about 400 rounds a minute
yeah
and hitting 40 mil spinners at 400 rounds a minute. I was like, nah, I can't.
yeah. What the
No,
hell?
I give up. It's a bit like going, I think I'll be a mountain climber. And then you turn on the TV and someone's and he's just scaled K2 for the 7th time. Look, he's not even out of breath. And you just go,
Nope.
you know what? I think I'll just lay here in bed and watch The Simpsons.
100%.
It's like, you just can't. I lose all interest when it gets that bad. So I was like, no, this is going to be difficult. I'm going to lose a load of ammo. I'm going to hurt myself. And what am I actually going to achieve? I'll be able to enter a tournament and maybe come in the top 20 or 30 in the speed shoot, right? So I would rather go to a tournament and flunk everything and just do okay at, say, the woods course or the knockdowns or whatever I chose to focus on. But I'm not really, high style just
No,
doesn't work for me. My hands don't want to move that way.
yeah. It was
I
very
just go like this
frustrating.
and the ammo goes everywhere and I go,
Yeah. It was very frustrating for me. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to buddy. Okay. I couldn't figure out for the life of me how to get that thing shooting straight. I would hit one on an 80 mil flipper. I'd hit it like 1 out of 10. The other ones I was missing the catch box. I ended up shooting my hand 3 times on a live with Andy, and I was like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do
See,
this. Who
I mean,
am I
what I
fooling?
love most, and here's an example of how amazing the community is, right? Kerry, pinched with fingertips. He's still trying to help us, right? Despite the fact that we've both gone, ain't gonna happen, bro.
Oh,
Just not gonna.
I've tried the pinch with the fingertips. I tried adding a little bit more thumb, a little bit more finger, trying to get it aligned. It made no difference. Whatever. I don't know. I may try to go back to it again another day, possibly. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, try with clays." Man, I can't shoot clays either. So if I'm not shooting clays good, and then when I switched to steel got much better. So I went from shooting like this size to down to this size, which was pretty nice. But hit your hand with with steel ammo. It sucks. It sucks so
Yeah,
much. Yeah, I was like, no,
yeah.
screw this. Screw this.
That's why I've literally only just started tying up long draw bands again and started practicing long draw, because I got overconfident. I didn't get good at it, but I was getting comfortable, and I was shooting clay, and I went, yeah, what's that? Why have I been so scared of this? I'll just switch to 8 mil. So I switched 8 mil steel, and I was just like, and I've been getting butterfly kisses with clay, and then I got a proper one with 8 mil steel.
Yep.
And yeah, it was not nice, and I was like, screw this long draw thing. So I stopped again, and the problem is that whole, you stop and then you shit again. When you start again, you're like, oh, I'm having to relearn everything.
The long draw thing is tricky. It's tricky because I could shoot thumb up on my draw. Okay, I'm not bad. But if I do thumb down this way and I pull back,
that's the only way I can do long draw.
I shoot myself in the face every time. So it's like,
except if I'm doing full butterfly, in which case I'm thumb up. You see, I have no consistency even across styles. Like I shoot thumb up short draw, thumb up full butterfly, thumb down anything between ear and quarter.
Sure, yeah, short draw for me is thumb up, no problem. So like this, when I shoot my pickle fork, it's actually thumb pointing this way, and I tweak it a little bit. Way better, way better.
That's another reason why I don't want to start that. Like it's just like I'll end up like this.
Yeah,
it'd be like Zach doing his trick shots, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have none of that.
Paul's, we've got an English Canadian troll in the house, man. He's just trolling us. What's going on? What hand movement, Paul? What hand movement did I do that told you all to F off? That's very tactful of you. I'm watching my language as well, which is taking great restraint.
There's no need for that on my channel, man. Let it rip if you want. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. Well, it won't be like I'll let it rip on purpose. It will just slip out. And before you know it, the C-bombs will be popping around and I'll be like, oh no, what have I done? So what hand movement, Paul? Explain yourself.
Go on, Chad.
As it's nighttime there, would I be doing full moth instead of full butterfly? Very good point. Perhaps full moth doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Full moth. I'm going full moth. The Mothman. Web shooter smacked his hand again the other day, traveled up inside my finger. Oh man, that's not what I wanted to. I've got to go to bed, right? I'm going to have nightmares now. Web shooter standing there going, I used to love shooting my slings with these mangled fingers. Dripping blood and steel on the floor. And Christian's just laughing at me and laughing at Paul.
Whoa.
You're not having fun, you're not practicing. That's very true. Chad's here. And Don DeMarco, 1978, Karlsruhe. Good morning, Don DeMarco. Wie geht's? You can talk to Christian and speak German. Oh, there we go. Christian going there. Good morning, Don.
He's rocking the German already.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, he doesn't get much opportunity to speak his Muttersprache. The hand movements when I was doing the high style example, I don't even remember what I did. Did I go like this? Did I go high style? Or like that? Which one did I do? Which one was the offensive one? Well, I don't know. He asked for it. Like Paul and I are just gonna go at each other.
Paul.
That British competition.
Oh man.
Expat Poms, mate. That's what I worry about, Adam, when I'm other people's channel. What, Rob? What do you worry about, mate? Tell us your worries, Robert. Karlsruhe, nicht weit weg, von wo ich geboren bin. And now Chris will have to compliment my German accent like he did last time I spoke German in front of him. Making an egg sandwich. Robert, I'm losing track of am I the only one losing track of the chat? Like, what's going on here, Mark? Help me.
I know, it's just gone kind of chaotic.
Yeah, Rob's worrying about, he worries about something when he's on other people's channel. It was obviously something I said, but now he's making an egg sandwich.
No, he was talking about he's worried about swearing too much when he's on other people's channels.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know we're God.
At the same time of worrying about that, he's making an egg sandwich. I think that's the case.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay, so we're we're both gobby, Rob. You're gobby, Rob. I'm gobby, Adam, and people know that, so they shouldn't be surprised. When I was on last week, I had a mantra: be human normal, not Paul normal. Maybe that's why you didn't come across as being normal, Paul. It's because you weren't being your normal self. If you'd been your normal self, like you have been in private chats with me and so on, everyone would have just been like, this man is really genuinely very mad, but very cool. And you would have been more comfortable. See, I have mastered the fine art of not giving a shit. Like, I really don't care if people think I'm an idiot. I like it when the trolls take the piss because I usually have some good comeback I can come out with, or
And you definitely don't want to
Doesn't
waste those, you know?
It doesn't bother me now. I mean, like, look at this T-shirt. For fuck's sake. I wouldn't. Oh, there we go. I F-bombed already. It didn't even. It was effortless.
It kind of
There you
felt
go.
good, right?
It felt
I'll
good,
be
man.
honest.
It felt like a release, cathartic. It
Yeah.
was. So, meanwhile, Don DeMarco and look, Chris, just you and Don get a room, have a bit of an entertaining German chat there, and come back to us when I can access Google Translate.
I'm having scrambled eggs. Where
Stinson,
can I
get a haircut? I like
buy
that comment.
keto hot sauce? Al, we'll talk later, buddy. We'll chat later.
What's going on here? Morning, Adam. Morning, Adam. Lol, latest skaters. Oh, Hoggy left and I missed because I'm trying to catch up on the chat. You had one of my egg toasts for breakfast. Right. So, Ethan, was it or was it not an interesting experience? The scrambled egg on Vegemite toast. Yes or no? Did you like it? Because I'm nearly caught up in the chat now, I think. That's good.
I've never tried Vegemite, but I heard it's terrifying. Is that true?
It's not really well. I mean, I don't know. Do yeast extract based spreads terrify you, Mark? I always considered you to be a much stronger, a man of much stronger fortitude than that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
you really sold the Vegemite on that statement. I'll tell you that.
They're good yeast extract.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
So basically, if you like,
sounds like something we need a doctor for. You know.
That's it. If you like salty umami flavors, right?
Okay.
Those kind of bit like soy and those rich and miso and those sort of like that really intense, savory, salty flavors. You probably like Vegemite. You probably like Marmite. You know,
it might be worth trying then. Actually, that sounds like it's up my alley. I'm more of a salty than a sweet guy.
Yeah. So the yeast, you know, the nutritional yeast you can get, which vegans seem to want to add to everything to add flavor to it.
Yeah.
Right? So the flavor of nutritional yeast is like a kind of pussy-assed version of Vegemite and Marmite. It's like got that umami savory flavor, but it's kind of lightweight. You know, it's not too offensive, and you know, it's real dialed down. But if you put half a pound of that shit in a meal, it gets properly salty and in your face, right? Basically, that's what Vegemite is like. It's like this super hyper concentrated version of that nutritional yeast, and you just spread it on really thinly on toast. And that's the mistake that
everyone's making.
That Ethan made, right? And the mistake that everyone makes when they don't know.
He went full peanut butter
Australians,
mode. Right? He went full peanut butter mode. Yeah, sticking it thick and that's where.
Drown that shit in butter and then just spread it real thin. So once you're used to it, I mean, Australians spread it much thicker, but I still like it really thin. Lots and lots of butter.
Mark, it's good, but you will go. You got to go light, or it'll ruin your day if you lose a lot.
There you go.
Okay,
so I'll give you a story about my friend. I have a friend in Austria who came out to visit, and he came out via Sydney. So I'm up in Brisbane, which for those people who don't know, or geography-wise, is about halfway up the east coast of Australia.
Okay.
And Sydney is about halfway between us and the corner, which is the Malakuta Inlet in Victoria. But basically, about halfway down, you've got Sydney. So he flew into Sydney, spent some time doing the Sydney thing, the tourist thing. You know, had a little outback tour with some other backpackers and stuff. And then he came up, just a little hop up to Brisbane, and I met up with him. And he had this story to tell me about this place he'd stayed in, this little bed and breakfast that he'd stayed in Sydney before he caught this tour out of Sydney. Or it was like a backpackers or something. And he'd gone down for breakfast in the morning, and they had the continental buffet, right? Which is basically just cheap cheese and cheap meats and bread products and a series of spreads, right? So he goes, I'll have some jam and toast. And one of the staff there said, "Oh, have you tried Vegemite?" And he's like, "No." They have these little individual portions, you know, you peel like in hotels, man, where you peel the fucking foil off.
The little butter pack thing is there?
Yeah, really wasteful and pointless, and you know, just give me
give me a butter dish. I don't care if someone else has used it. You know, it's that sort of thing. But they do these little packets, and they do them of Vegemite. But they're about 4 mil thick. You know, whereas the jam ones are like an inch deep or half an inch deep. The Vegemite ones are like this, which should give you a hint, right? So this person thought it'd be really entertaining when Michael spoke to them in a clearly accented Germanic voice, right? Oh, so what is this little container of like black crude oil like stuff? What is this? It's Vegemite. What is this Vegemite? You know, and they went, oh yeah, mate, that's like a staple Australian food. You want to try that? And they peeled it and scooped it out on a teaspoon and handed it to him.
Oh
right?
no!
And he just went, oh, and just stuck it in his mouth, right? And of course, it's just like, no, it's horrible. It's just horrible. Like I couldn't handle that. Well, I could, but it would be horrible. Right, but it's just disgusting. So of course he's sitting there spluttering and being really polite and not wanting to just projectile spit it across the room, right? And this person's having hysterics because they just think it's the funniest thing to have tortured a tourist with something that's non-lethal. You know, like, that'll teach you to come to Australia, come around here thinking that you know about us and our dangerous animals. Well, how about our dangerous spreads? So that's basically what happened. Oh, someone's asking a question. How lovely. I love questions. Christian hates Vegemite, by the way, so we can always trigger Christian by going on about Vegemite. Super thin. You can read a newspaper for it. Correct. See, I've trained Ethan already. Question for you: if either of you could go back in time and talk to your 20-year-old selves, what would you say to them to change the course of your life for the better?
You mind if I go first on this one? I got a pretty decent answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Because my answer will be the typical drug-addled gibbering of a wastrel.
Unfortunately, if I went back in time to talk to my 20-year-old self, it would be an absolute waste of time because my 20-year-old self would not listen to anything I had to say. So I could tell my 20-year-old self all kinds of things, but unfortunately, the school of hard knocks for ATO was the school of hard knocks, and it's the only way I learned things back when I was a know-it-all 20-year-old. So I did my thing, and I got out of my thing, and here I am today, a much better person for dealing with that shit. So go ahead, do what you got to do, and become the man you're going to become no matter what.
You got, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing for me because I just I can't see any point in having that, I should have done things differently because I didn't. You know, I did things the way I did things, and all of that led to this moment now, right? So basically, but if I could, I would probably walk up to my 20-year-old self as he was sitting drug-addled in a dressing gown, or drinking heavily, and go, mate, everything in moderation. And I would have gone, yeah, that's what my mum says. Who are you? You're not my mum, right? And then that would have been it. It would have gone into my fizzing, psychedelic infused brain, and I would have just gone, oh wow, that's deep, man. Yeah, now get you're kind of bringing me down. Why don't you just go and and the next morning I wouldn't remember.
Pretty much. There would probably
not
be
much difference now then, Mark, really.
Yeah.
You know, the only difference is I don't need drugs to not remember now.
Yeah. I think there'd be a slap on the shoulder and there'd be like, it's going to get better, bro. Hang in there. I think it would be one of those.
I'd be like, believe me, if you think this is good, just wait till you get the mortgage and the kids. It gets even better.
Yeah.
And then I would have been like, what are you talking about, man? You know? I'd be like, you'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out.
I don't think I'd go back and give advice. I think I'd just revel in the schadenfreude of someone making all the wrong decisions. I would just sit there and go, God, you really are a moron, aren't you? Why are you doing that? You know,
Yeah.
I would live vicariously through the suffering of my younger self. But
Yeah.
so here we go. What we got? Yeah, I'm asking because I'm 29, turning 30 in about 2 months. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but that sums it up. I'm 29, turning 30, so I'm feeling like I'm over the hill, running out of time. Feeling stuck in life, mate, is a common feeling, and I think we all feel that. And
Yeah.
that's safe to say, like every human being on the planet has, at some point, felt stuck where they are and not happy. So I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I think that's a not pleasant feeling, but it's not unique to you. You are genuinely not alone in that feeling. As for running out of time, come on, you're not even 30 yet. I mean, since Mark and I can sit here with a combined age of over 100 years, probably, I think it's safe to say we do. We cracked the century a couple of years ago, or like last year. I think we made the century between us. So now we're over a century. So being 29, really got a lot of stuff you can still do.
Yeah, you got a lot of time,
And
bro.
if you choose that to be in the same rut that you feel yourself in now, that's the choice you made. Because you don't have to do that. You can do anything you want. So that's my advice to you, not my advice to 20-year-old me who wouldn't have listened.
If I'm gonna pass on anything that advice that I've received in my time, is a lot of us, I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat could probably agree with this, is when you start getting involved in picking a career and or planting your roots at a company where you feel like you're going to start trying to move up in and you know, create a life and possibly looking at the future of buying a home and having a family and all that stuff. There's certain responsibilities that are going to kind of lock you in to, you know, showing up to work every day, paying all your bills, all that stuff, that whole adult life thing. While all that's going on, don't forget to live.
Yeah.
Live. Get out there,
Adulting
do the things
saps
that you
all the
love.
joy out of living.
Yes.
Especially for blokes, right?
Yeah.
Because we're eternal children, and you know, so if you spend too much time focusing on all that adult grown-up stuff, that inner child in you, which exists for women as well. I mean, I'm not making out like it's just a bloke thing. It's a human thing.
It's just
However,
different. Yeah.
guys are particularly prone to perpetuating that childlike nature in their life, right? Like we're all these, like we joke about it as adults, but all that happens basically is you just become more aware of it as you get older. You just get more accepting of the fact that you can be, in my case, 54 years old and have the mental age of a slightly demented 12-year-old, really. You know, like I'm certainly like, I don't think I ever progressed into my teens mentally, you know. So I just still have this childlike stupidity and joy of the silly that just, if I couldn't do that, then yeah, like adult life is just sucks. Adulting sucks. And that's the thing that you never believe when you're a kid. When you tell your kid, and then they go, "Oh, it's unfair. Why can't I do that?" Because you're not a grown-up. Oh, well, I want to be a grown-up. It's like, no, you don't.
Oh, fuck no.
Oh, no, you don't. And
no,
like,
you don't.
Just you wait and see. I'll show you. You know, and then they get to be an adult, and you say, "What's it like?" And they go, "It sucks." And you go, "See." And then you get that moment of blissful Schadenfreude again. So it's really all about just feeling good because other people are having a horrible time.
Yep.
That's kind of, it's wrong, but it's true. You know, it's like,
but it's true.
You keep telling people, you advise them, and then you watch them fuck up, and then you go, "You should have listened to me." And they go, "No, I didn't need to hear that." And you go, "Yeah, I know. That's why I said it."
Yeah.
So I'm coming across as being really horrible and thoughtless and selfish and uncaring. I apologize for that. It's just the way I am. So that's the way it comes across. Where have we got here? Catching up on we've been chatting and I haven't been paying attention to all these lovely people commenting.
You might
in
be
the house.
You might be surprised, Rob. You'd be very surprised at what kids can do to you sometimes. But yeah,
Mm.
you'd be surprised.
Then Brad has worms. Yeah, go fishing, or have a worm farm and compost. There we go. There's a couple of good
Going, Brad.
selections for worms. Hillbillies, NES. This is like Brad. Brad's there. Brad's there. Chad's there.
Yeah.
Rick's there. Rob's there. Bub's there.
Yeah,
Chad's there.
Rob's enjoying his sandwich too, which is good news. I had some eggs this morning. It was great.
Yeah, and Ethan had eggs, and Ethan had eggs for Slingshooting Down Underway. And I did notice a comment from Zach, who I hope is still in the chat. Yes, Zach, I did make this T-shirt myself. I hope you're proud of me for being so cheapskate that I could not get a proper ATO T-shirt. So I did this one instead, and this one has the epic. And all I got was this lousy T-shirt on the back. Just for you guys. JHYK, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to on. I need it, especially from a couple of fine old gents. I like that. Fine old gent. That's literally
fine.
That's the high point. That's the high point of my week. No one ever calls me a fine old gent, and I like that. If I'm going to be called old, I'd like it to be in the same sentence as gent.
Yeah. Even that kind of
Sounds
sketches
good.
me out.
No, I'm not old, but I see others my age just way ahead of me. No, you see others your age who've just done the things that they think make them happy right now. That's all. They're not ahead of you or behind you, man. They're just on a different path because they're them and you're you. So do what makes you happy. That's the only advice I can give anyone is do what makes you happy, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to be happy for you. No one else is going to make you happy. No one else can make you happy, right?
Yep.
And actually, no one else can make you sad either. You make you sad. Other people can make it easier for you to make you sad, but oh god, we're getting too meta now. But you know what I'm talking about. It's like it's on you. Just own your shit. There we go.
It was actually crazy, you know. I don't know if this happened with you or not, but when I was a young kid, I guess let's say just starting off high school, probably around 13 years old or so, 12, 13 years old, I had a few things that I absolutely loved doing. I love fishing, I love camping, I love being in the woods. It was my most comfortable, happy place, I guess you could say, while I was just messing around in the woods and cooking meals and looking for lizards and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And at some point, I got away from all that, and it was like I just started hanging out with my friends, getting into trouble, doing my stupid shit, and I kind of lost myself. Now the weird thing was when I ended up having I ended up. My son was asking, "Oh, easy, Benny. Okay, buddy. Okay, I know. I love you too, buddy. I love you too."
And look at your son. He's really come on.
I know he's kind of hairy like his dad, you know.
Yeah, get a haircut, boy.
Okay. So basically, what ended up happening was when I had my son, and he was able to be large enough to follow me around in places, I ended up taking him out for we used to call it adventure time, and we'd go for walks in the woods, and we'd find bugs and sticks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I started showing him how to catch lizards, and then I started taking him fishing, and then the next thing you know, we're camping, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been missing all this time. I was always worrying about work. I was always worrying about bills. I was always worrying about running around and, you know, making things happen and, you know, collecting things that I didn't really need and trying to get these fancy shit. And this is not me at all, but this is what everyone seemed to be doing. I lost myself and I found him, and it's so much better. It's so much better. I mean, there was that section. Most of the people that I hung out with when I was a kid spent time in jail, got heavily into drugs, had all kinds of problems, and it was just like, man, I got to separate myself from that stuff, or I'm going to wind up just like them. And that's what I did. But then I didn't know who I was anymore because it was gone. But I found it.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
I think we're all glad that you did.
I found him, and it was nice.
And I have done the same with the sling shooting, you know, like that.
Come here,
Getting
Benny.
into that just before I separated from my wife was a big thing for me. I got into it. I was was a very supportive thing while I was still with her. I got into the hobby, but it's been that kind of nice focus thing for me, you know, just keep me from wanting to drink, basically, you know. I just you know, the casual. I'm an obsessive hobbyist, but I'm also so terrifyingly ADD that if I get into a hobby, unless there's some sort of community, unless there's something to keep me in that hobby, like I join a club and the people at the club are people I like and I like hanging out with them. So for instance, I'm a board gamer, so I still play board games because the people I play board games with, I like to hang out with, and that makes playing board games enjoyable. But it also became an obsessive collecting thing where you end up going, oh God, now I've got 250 board games and they're all like $100 each, and that's a stupid amount of money. And why have I spent all that? And why am I now I can't pay my bills because I've got board games. You know, like, maybe I can burn them. No, I can't. They're limited edition and too expensive. You know, it's so I go down that, and Leon and I have already bored people with ink pens on one of the lives that we did. I remember just babbling endlessly to Leon about ink pens and waving ink pens at him, and he was like, "Oh, so exciting!" And everyone else was like, "Oh, talk about something that's other than ink pens. Like, what are you?" So Slingshots, I was like, resist the gear acquisition syndrome. Just resist it. Be aware of why you're doing it. Be aware of the fact that, you know, you're currently drinking way too much, spending way too much on top shelf spirits, spending all your time. You know, your hobby is amateur mixology. Anyone wants another martini? Yes. Cocktails,
now it's
darling.
green.
And that's it. And when you get in the habit of doing that, and a cocktail is 3 standard drinks, and you're doing one before dinner, one while you're making dinner, and one after dinner, and you're doing that every night, you know, suddenly not only the cost, but the damage to your liver and the way, and just the sheer, because you just reach, that's your baseline suddenly. But you just, it's like being involved in violence or drugs or anything else. Like, your baseline shifts. And so what everyone else considers to be this really extreme form of behavior just is your normal baseline. It's not out of the ordinary. If you're running with a gang, you know, being violent and firing off guns and getting into strife is normal. That's your normal baseline. But to everyone else, it's like, oh my God, he's a gangbanger. It's mad, right? So you know, and that's where I realized, I suddenly went, oh my God, like I'm drinking 65 liters of 100 proof a year. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? I mean, that was 2018. That was the equivalent amount of alcohol that I drank in 2018. At least half of that was beer. So that would have been a lot more than 700 ml bottles. You know, it's just, so it gets silly, and you just got to keep yourself accountable. And in my case, it was done by tapping into the things that I knew kept me accountable, the things that I know I respond to. So with my brain, the way it fizzes and the way it needs structure and stuff, I thought, if I create a spreadsheet of my alcohol consumption, it'll keep me accountable. You know? So I've literally logged my alcohol consumption daily since then. Right. So I've got like all these historical years of data about my drinking habit, and I've seen this massive reduction, you know, in my drinking habit, because suddenly I can see it. Suddenly it's actually a thing. It's numbers, and I've set myself a goal of trying to beat the previous year and stuff. So I've got the spreadsheet checking and saying, hey, you did a good month this year. You're in the blue. You know, if I go over, it goes into the red, and it clearly shows me, you know, and I'm like, I just realized that was all I had to do, was just have the equivalent of a big whiteboard with, like, you know, golden stars, or, you know, if I give myself a golden star for doing something. And this is one of the golden stars. I started doing this, and it was like, oh, this is a hobby that I can be obsessive about, but it's not, and I can go as deep down the rabbit hole as I want. But the only thing I have to pay attention to is the cost. Right? That's the only thing. Everything else, I don't have to worry about it. It's not something that's going to damage my health unless I take my eye out with a fork hit. It's not going to, you it's not going to be injurious to someone else. It's
No.
not going to reduce someone else's life state to the point where they want to leave me, kill me, So I've been. That's it. I'm down the rabbit hole, but I'm still quite resistant. I haven't dropped as much money as I could have done or have done in previous habits and hobbies. So I'm still feeling good about it.
Yeah,
that
that's
may
great.
change. That may change. I may end up suddenly spending way too much money and having, but that will be the point at which I start randomly giving frames away left, right, and center.
Mm.
So,
But that's the cool thing about this sport or hobby, whatever. You can go out, buy one slingshot, and then shoot that thing, shoot it as often as you want inside of a catch box. Recycle all your ammo, and basically after the initial year, we'll say, or 6 months, you're shooting for free.
I'm literally still shooting with my original purchase of 8mm steel and my original purchase of 9.5mm steel.
Yeah.
I haven't lost enough to make any dent on I think I bought 1200 steel, 8mm steel, and I probably got a good 1150 still. I've got over 1,000.
Yeah. And that'll just keep going.
I don't shoot steel outside of a catch box or a catch bag, so
yeah,
most of it comes back, and I will have lost some, and I will have let other people. They'll have gone, oh, guess ago, and I've been foolish enough to let them loose with steel, and they've gone, and it's gone off, and I've watched it shoot into orbit or go off towards the neighbor's house, and I'm like, oh god.
Oh yeah.
Or it's
I've been there a couple of
fork hit one of my precious frames, and I'll be like, oh, don't worry about it, mate. It's fine. It's fine.
Can I have a piece of your hair?
Yeah.
We're making a voodoo doll later.
That's it. I need some of your body hair. I need to send it to Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of times too, man.
Has the chat frozen on your phone?
No, not really. It doesn't seem to be it's not flying, but it's still moving around.
It's totally frozen on my phone. I'm miles behind.
What's the last one you have there?
On my phone, the last thing I've got is Zach going, that's amazing. I think he's talking about my t-shirt, and that was ages ago.
The last one I have is Robert Patton saying "Al," and then Rob Cross just said, "I got you, Adam."
Yeah, so that's what I've got on the computer. So I'm gonna have to start. I'm going to have to start ignoring you, I'm afraid, and just gazing at the. I'll sit here like this. I should have had my smoking jacket ready. What ho, Watson? Shall we just
going full Hugh Hefner on us?
Yeah, I'll have a little look through the. Let me turn this around a minute. There we go. I'll just move this way a little bit. There we go. People talking about soap making.
Well, what do you think, Adam? Are you about ready to take a few shots?
Yeah, always, mate.
All right, let's do that. Let's take a few shots.
All right, then. I'll catch up on the chat when I watch this back and wonder why I'm.
Maybe the chat will catch up for you.
So I don't know whether I'm going to risk this particular excuse for a tripod. It's more a selfie stick with a pathetic tripod-like extension at the bottom.
Let's see how we're looking here. Woo.
There we go. That's about as high as it goes. Now, got to get this set up so that you can actually see. Hey, look at that. You see? Damn good.
That's pretty damn cool.
There it is. Can you see the whiffle?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. I have a tendency to shoot this frame and not hold on to it.
Oh.
That obviously I hold on to it. Hang on one second.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I'll get a bit of unattractive lighting on my shiny dome.
You guys pick what ATO's shooting. We going pickle?
Yeah, you guys have to pick. I'm not allowed to pick because I'm in the chat.
First comment gets.
I want to hide the chat now. Now that it's not updating on here, and I'm having to look at it on the screen.
PFS, you got it.
Afternoon, mate. Everyone's saying, or not everyone, but a lot. We've got 2 for the pickle fork straight away. That would be
Yep.
Ethan and Rob, and we've got a Medusa, and then an Aries. So it's 2 to 1 to 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 to 2 to 1. The Aries is rushing up. I've got an Aries here as well, so I could shoot my ugly orange and black Aries.
I actually like those. Those are pretty nice. I like the I like those pattern ones. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm mean to it. I'm very mean to it because it's your typical kind of HDPE Aries, so it's got that kind of rough and ready feel to it, where it's just been kind of, it's not highly polished. It's not, and you know, once you've had something a little less fashion for purpose, it feels very quick and rough and ready. But I'm actually quite glad it's rough and ready because it's quite slippy material.
That's what I was just going to say. The HDPE ones, when they're cut rough, it's actually better because they hold better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's long draw though, so that one's going to be a bit more embarrassing for me. But I don't mind. I'll keep it out. Then we can go Aries together or something. Aries together.
All right.
That could be it.
Let's go.
So what are you choosing?
Oh, we're going to go with the PFS. We'll start with that in the beginning, so they can see me sticking
PFS.
right out of the bat.
I'm going to do my Unifox.
Very cool.
OTT for the first time. So wish me luck, guys. This has been exclusively TTF frame since I bought it, but I'm not a TTF shooter.
Oh,
so work that one out.
Yeah.
You know, I like to mix it up. I mean, it's just literally don't care about frame width. I'll have a go with anything and adapt. Mutate and survive.
Just fun.
A little bag of clay. And we'll see how we go. Okay. This is the last of my clay, so I may run out of clay. Who knows? Can everyone see the oh look, I can zoom. I forgot about that. Yeah, there we go. There's a little wiffle ball hanging out on the deck there. So it's about 10 meters away.
Oh man.
That was a miss.
Whew. There we go.
Me with ADHD. Yep, things need to change constantly. You're right, Paul. I can actually shoot and I can read the chat for the first time because it's right here on a big screen. Hurrah! No? At some point, that wiffle ball will spin. I absolutely intend to hit it. I refuse to suffer performance anxiety. Right? I have performed. No, that's totally wrong. I'm not going to say I've performed on camera many times. It just sounds wrong. Really? Trouble is, I can't see where they're going as well, which is
that's tough.
It's like shooting dark ammo into the dark from a lit room at something that is illuminated 10 meters away is, yeah, that's the sort of thing that JB does. And I wouldn't want to be counted amongst, I wouldn't want to compete. You know, I don't think I compete favorably with JB and his 100-yard, what was it, 200 yards with a pickle fork today?
Yeah, I saw that pop up. I haven't watched it yet, but man, that dude's like part alien, I'm sure. I don't know.
The 100-yard shot was first try as well. I was like, it's surely gonna take him at least 2 shots. No, first time, 100 yards with a pickle fork.
Getting a lot of bounce outs.
No. Good thing is, as I was smacking 40 mil targets earlier today. No problem.
It's hard when you're shooting into the dark like that. There you go.
I think that one actually bounced off the wiffle ball onto the deck, which is quite impressive.
Oh, maybe you get another. You can pick them up later and shoot some more. I spent most of my first year practicing at work on my overnight shifts, so I got good at shooting at night. Oh, very nice. Hey, Rex, what's going on, buddy?
So who was? Oh, that was Rob. Well, yeah, but Rob, you're a vampire, mate. We've already discussed the fact that you are half bat, so you should be able to shoot at night. I would be disappointed if you couldn't. And Paul has multiple angled cameras for his good side. I don't have a good side, Paul, so it'd be pointless having multiple angled cameras. Although it sounds impressive, I have multiple angled cameras. Oh, do you? Yes, I do. What I can hear is when I miss, I just hear this sort of kick, 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 as it rips through foliage in the dark. You know, I don't know where it's going. It's just disappearing into the bush out the back somewhere.
There's no houses back there, are there?
The
it's going right into
the bush, mate.
Oh, nice.
Sorry?
I said,
yeah, it's just bush.
It's all bush. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in suburbia, but there's I've got about half an acre down the back there, and then beyond that is a wildlife corridor that runs up to a big forest up the road at the end of the road that way. So yeah, I mean, my outlook is all trees at the moment.
Oh, that's good. So you must get a bunch of critters that kind of roll through your yard, I guess, from time to time.
Did when we first moved in.
Yeah.
Had koalas just off that deck. In fact, can you see the tree just beyond the light?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I see. It's kind of in line with that post of your fence on your deck, right?
Correct. Yeah, beyond that one's just off the deck, and that I've had a koala sitting in that branch right there when we first moved in. But then we got a dog.
Oh.
And so like when you have a dog, they don't like to hang around.
Yeah.
You don't get anywhere near the same. You don't get the same wildlife, land-based wildlife. You still get birds, but you don't get so we still get turkeys, and we still get the birds, and we still get the lizards and the snakes and so on. But we don't get wallabies so much. Although now that the dog's not living with me, now I'm only living here alone while we sell the house. We've got a resident pretty-faced wallaby who's coming back into the gully. So I hear him bouncing around when I'm practicing down the back. I hear him jumping around because he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm practicing my slingshot." And he's like, "Oh, I'm out there." Doink, 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 and he disappears, crashing off through the bush. See, I take that for granted now, Mark. I don't even think about it. I would see something like that, and it would be literally the same as you going, "Oh, look, there's a deer."
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it becomes normal, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it is if your resident wildlife is things like white-tailed deer and bears and other
raccoons,
stuff, mountain lions. When I was in Colorado, I remember the first time I saw a mountain lion, right, in the wild. I went, "Wow, it's a mountain lion." Now, if I went to Colorado and I saw a mountain lion, I would just be like, "Isn't that awesome?" I wouldn't go, "Oh, wow, like a mountain lion?" Because I expect to see that stuff up in the mountains in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
If you see something like that, it's like, "Oh, that's indigenous, so I expect that." But I totally understand that someone who has never stood next to an ostrich or an emu is going to find the idea of a human-sized flightless bird standing next to them, like a cassowary or whatever, going,
the cassowaries, Yeah,
Yeah,
the closest thing to a dinosaur still around, I think, is those things, those cassowaries. They're incredible.
Yeah, those and crocodiles, mate.
Yes. Yeah, those are crocodiles. Nuts.
And we got them too, just not right down this far south. But you don't have to go too far north before you start running into saltwater crocodiles, estuary crocodiles. Yeah. Those are scary.
Yeah. I just had my first frame hit.
Oh no!
Yeah, it didn't put a scratch in the thing. Look at that. It's like nothing happened. Yeah,
What is that? What's that made out of? I thought that was aluminium.
it's titanium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, titanium's no joke.
Well, there you go. Fork hit the hell out of it, man.
Yeah.
Damaged some of your steel ammo.
That was so fun. I'm going to hit that again.
Yeah, I'm doing something different with this frame. Maybe late night shooting, I do need a 90mm frame. Who knows? Maybe it's a time of day thing. Maybe it's a color of frame thing. All these variables.
There we go.
No. I should have hung up a can. The problem is hanging up a can and smashing the hell out of that at this time of night.
Yeah, it's loud,
which is nearly 11 p.m. I probably would not be popular. Well, no, I wouldn't be popular. I definitely wouldn't be popular. I would be less popular than I am normally. So anyway, I hope you can see that I am actually hitting that wiffle ball occasionally. Mark, you've got the best view of the best hit so far, like the proper one where it actually spanned.
Yeah, that was
Every other
great.
one has been a half-hearted
Little
like,
skip.
oh, I nicked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell you what, that's why I like. I've been liking shooting those little steel bean cans, the little small size baked bean cans. I don't know what that is in ounces. I think it's the 6-ounce one or something. The kind of they call it a portion for two, and I'm like, really? What, 2 pygmies? It's like that's enough beans. That's my portion for a breakfast. You know, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been using those because I think they're steel, not alu.
Yeah.
And so they're tougher. And you can hang one up and plink it with clay for like several months before it disintegrates.
Oh yeah, easily.
And the really nice thing I found is that because they're just wide enough that if you don't get a center hit, it spins. It just spins on its axis.
Yep.
So by working out which way it's spinning, you can tell how fast it's spinning. You can tell how far off you were. So if you get one of those cranking things where it just spins like mad, you go, wow, that was, I just nicked it because it's got it really spinning fast. And if you hit it straight on, it flips. It does the whole, oh, you hit me, right?
Yeah.
So you can dial it in, even if you can't see your ammo, you can work out how far off you are left and right and so on. Whereas with spinners, I can't do that. They jump even if I don't hit them. I hit the catch bag and the whole thing goes, oh.
Yeah. But you know what? I like those. We have these small tomato paste cans. I guess they're probably around 40 or 50 mils in diameter from the top.
Yeah, I know ones.
Yeah, they're fantastic for that. They take a beating. They stay up there a long time, and they're still a challenging size target. So it's good.
Yeah, these are the ones I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, they're the standard bean size can. Yeah, they're great.
Well, they're not the standard. They're smaller. This is the standard. So that's the standard size.
Yeah, they're slightly smaller.
They're just a little bit shorter and a little bit smaller. They kind of fit inside a standard can.
Oh wow. Okay,
So if you hang one of those at like, I think they're 55 mil across, or maybe 60 across and about 85 long. So it's just it's a good size to hang at like 15 meters. I've got one on a post about 15 meters from where I shoot down the back, and that makes a good size target from 15 meters. Hang one from 10, and it's a comfortable plinking target for making nice sounds. And like you say, they last forever. They just
even with steel,
bust. I think
even with steel, they last quite a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I'm shooting clay outside, they're endless. But at the same time, people go, oh, yeah, clay, it doesn't land any damage to it. But I have one down the back right now I could bring up, and people will be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I haven't shot anything at it except clay. And it's mangled. It's got holes in it. It's just starting to tear up. So.
Yeah, you'll definitely poke holes in that with clays even still. Repeated shots in the same spot starts denting. Eventually it splits. It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if I can hit this whiff. No, and I know that went high right because I pulled it at the last minute.
Another one.
And that's something you said in your last week. You were talking about what was it? You said that with all the variables that there are, even shooting short draw, you try and minimize everything. You know, it doesn't matter which way you go, whether you anchor and then push out, or pull back and move up to the target, or whatever is your special sauce, whatever works for you. And they're all wrong unless they're what Coinworker's doing anyway. So we know that, and we accept that because that's just truth, canon. But assuming you're doing stuff right. You said, it's basically release. When you start focusing in on it, you realize that all your mistakes are coming from the release because everything else you've locked down, right? It's easy to lock down your frame, it's easy to lock down your anchor point. It's easy to come up with a way of doing it, whichever way you're comfortable. But after that, then what is going wrong? The fact that we can have these shots that go wildly off target with the same thing, it's all release. Yeah. And so I've been trying to focus on that. And I don't think it's making a lot of difference yet, but I trust you and I will keep at it because I can't believe I can only believe that that's my inconsistency point now.
I think that's
why.
Yeah, these bands are
on long draw is easier for me. Sorry, what were you saying about the bands?
Yeah, I've been trying to. You're just talking about the the pointing and the pulling and all that stuff. And there's a couple of different schools of thought on shooting PFS that I've been kind of messing with. One of them is I hold it like a regular frame, and I tweak the pouch, and I shoot like this. Yeah. I've had good success with this. Today, I decided to try pointing the PFS a little bit and not tweaking the pouch. And I've had 2 frame hits today.
It away?
No, just using the bands to kind of wrap around the fork tip, so it kind of pulls it out instead of tweaking the pouch. I've had 2 frame hits with that today, and I've just damaged my elastic. So I poked a little hole in it.
So that's not working for you then, Mark?
No, that one's not working for me, but now I can't shoot this frame anymore because the bands have a little puncture hole right in the middle of them. So I'm not gonna.
That's all right, man.
I'm not gonna mess with that.
Have you got another frame?
Huh?
Do you own another frame?
I might. I'll see if I can find one.
I'm sure someone here would lend you one.
Yeah, not after all those frame hits.
Yeah, I'll loan you a frame. Oh no, have you not got a titanium one? No, I don't. Oh well, don't lend it to Mark then.
Yeah, don't lend it to me. I'm bad news, guys. I'm bad news. Yeah, I'll just fork it. Put some dents. All right, we're gonna go to the Medusa. Have a little bit of fun with this guy.
Sweet. All right. Well, you're shooting the Medusa. Maybe I'll shoot something completely. You know what? You're shooting a Medusa. I shall shoot a dragon.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Let's have a look.
I feel like I roll out these same frames all the time though, because that's basically the frame I've got.
That's that one from Harley, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's crazy. Isn't his work fantastic? His finishing
is beautiful.
My goodness.
I also have another one to show you. I don't know whether Jules is in the chat, but he was going to drop by. But I have a frame that he made for me that he didn't make it for me. He made it for himself, and then I kind of stole it off him because I was like, "Oh, this is nice," and he went, "Oh, you can have it." And I now feel like he was just being really generous because it's a really nice frame, and he just gave it to me. But I'll show you that. It's not banded up, unfortunately. But I thought you'd appreciate this.
Oh, wow. That's a beauty too. Wow, what's the width on that thing?
I believe it's 84 95? No, 90.
About a 90, yeah.
Yeah, it's 90. But yeah, it's Willow Natty that he made.
Wow, is that
And
ever
it was the
nice?
only chalice. I didn't own a chalice-shaped frame at all. And he gave me this one. And this was the first, and I'd always avoided them because I thought they won't be comfortable for me. There'll be something about it that will annoy me. I won't be able to pinch grip it. If I brace it, it'll be awkward or painful, whatever. And then I picked this one up and it just sat straight into my hand. It just
Yeah, the
locked
chalice
in there.
frames tend to hold nice, eh? I find they hold
Like
pretty
it,
nice.
and really comfy. How much do you think it weighs?
It's got to be super
Because I was
light.
talking to Robert Patton about this, and I said, you just would not believe how light it is.
It's got to be something like 40 or 50 grams max.
Yeah, 40 or 50 max. It's 28.9 grams.
Yeah.
It's not even 30 grams. It's an ounce.
Yeah.
1 ounce.
It's crazy.
So light. I just didn't realize Willow was so light. I mean, cricket bats, you know what I mean?
I
I'm
probably
English,
wouldn't.
for Christ's sake. I know how much a cricket bat weighs, but that's a cricket bat, so I'd never really thought about it. And cricket bats are not light objects, you know, but for their size and the thickness, they are really light. And it's because they're Willow. And it's like, I just didn't realize. And when I...
Oh, no. There you are. Gotcha.
Okay. So when Jules gave me this, he'd had it banded. I think at one point he showed me pictures of it double banded with TheraBand Gold at like 24 to 14 or something, you know, like wider than the fork tips.
Wow.
And it's totally strong enough to take that draw.
That's amazing, because the willow out here is very, very weak. Like, I would not make a slingshot out of willow out here. Must be a same name for a different tree, I think.
But I think what you have is crack willow, and Colorado as well. And it's like there are a bunch of different salix species, and the ones that are common where you are, I think it's mainly crack willow, and crack willow from memory is
because we've got like
crack willow.
We've got weeping willow trees, other different types of willow trees that we have here, but that stuff is so soft. I can easily take my thumbnail and put a huge dent in it when it's cured and dried. And man, no way. No way would I make it.
It was a revelation. I was like, how can that be so light and yet so strong? And I mean, it's also really beautiful. It's gorgeous. I just fell in love with it straight away. I was like, this is awesome. And Jules was so self-facing. He's like, yeah, it's just something. There's something I made. Whatever. I'm like, like people. That's a really nice natty. People will pay lots of money for that if that's their thing, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, really? I don't. So anyway, at some point we'll do another shoot together, and I will band that one up for you, and we'll.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to see that in action.
He says throwing it at the paintwork. So, all right, let's get the dragon on the act.
Get that shooting.
People, I've just got to check the chat. Where are we at? Clay's good turtle. Mine is magnetic too. Wow. Yeah. You think clay? I am a clay user. See you, Dave. Thanks for dropping by, brother. Always good to see you. What style is an Aries? I don't know. What does it count as? What would this count as? Is it a style? Is there a particular style for the Aries frame shape that generically all these thin-waisted race? I guess they're kind of race grip, thin-necked. There's a whole bunch of them that have a similar kind of narrow profile, but the Aries is particularly thin here.
Yeah, I love that style of handle on the Aries. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm finding that over time that my hand shape sits a lot better with an offset handle.
Yeah.
Like I do like that offset setup. This one's obviously designed to be pinch, but I have.
It looks like it fits your hand perfect too, actually.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit ergo down the back, right? So
yeah,
it's got that kind of curved profile at the back, which sits into the web of your hand nicely.
Yep.
And the handle is definitely very, very ergo. So, but I mean, my drop shot is the same. Like this one's obviously brace grip, but it's the same amount of offset, really. They're virtually identical in terms of the offset.
Do you find you prefer the pinch grips to a thumb brace?
So I actually started with hammer grip, and that was simply because of my arthritis.
Yeah.
So I thought if I can hold something like that,
yeah,
then I can pull against it, that will be the test, and I could. So I shot hammer for a long time, but I didn't have a dedicated hammer frame. I just was shooting the one I showed you earlier. This one. I was shooting this one, hammer grip.
Oh wow!
And it's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it holds well. And then I got myself a Scout X, and I was shooting that hammer grip. Don't advise it.
No.
Don't advise it. It's not a like. I don't really care what Simple Shots say about this being any grip. You can shoot it hammer grip. But it's really not designed for that, and it's actually not hugely comfortable to shoot pinch. And I'm kind of this unfortunately the Scout X was something that I bought so I could try TTF. I bought it quite early on before I was involved in the community. So these were the first two frames that I spent money on.
Oh wow!
And this one is 95 mil, and this one is 100 mil.
Ooh,
chunky. And I just learned how to use those, and then and then it went from there. I can't remember what my next frame was. I think I'm just realizing that kind of you're just getting a t-shirt shot.
I think my first frame was that Top Archery something Pro. I can't even remember what it was called anymore. It was like a cheap Amazon slingshot from Top Archery Slingshots. My next one though was a GZK Hammer Pro and TTF. That was my next one, and then right after that was the Scout LT.
Yeah, you see, I should have got an LT.
Yeah,
I think the frame width would have been more conducive to me using it more. If I were to if someone said, right, you have to sell one of your frames right now.
Scout X's history.
The Scout X would probably be top of the list because it's the one I use least. It's not because it's the worst frame. It's a really nice frame. Like I was totally in awe of all the little ergo bits that have been and the mix and match colors and the scales and it ticked all the little kind of ADD
the fun boxes,
the fun boxes that I wanted. Fiber optic sights and the clips work. They just work, and I was just like, yeah, absolutely, it's a good investment. And customer support was great. Shipping was really quick from the States. They shipped it priority, didn't question. I was just like, there you go, mate. You're paying for shipping. It's coming over. And there was no waiting around. And, so I was really happy with the product. And the product is good quality. And I've never had any problems with it. And I can shoot it. I mean, I can shoot. I've got wider frames than 100 mil, right? So I can shoot. I just shoot whatever I've got in my hand. It's like the old adage of, what's the best camera? What camera should I buy, Adam? They asked me because I was a photographer. And I'm like, the best camera is the one you've got with you. Because if you don't have a camera with you, it doesn't matter how much expensive gear you've got, right? You're not going to get that shot. So that the basher that Christian gave me, that I love, despite the fact it's just everything about it is not designed for my hands. My hand isn't really big enough for it, although it is a comfortable frame. It's 105 mil, which is way bigger than I shoot, especially now. And
what would you say?
So I'm always sighting like 10 mil down on the frame or something, sighting off here.
So you're more of an 85 guy, really? I guess like your optimum front fork width would be like an 85.
It's always been 90 until I lost this weight, and I think now it's 85. But because I'm so used to shooting everything from 85 to 105, I'm really mad at me. Like, as long as I know what it is, then I'll do the math in my head straight away. And I just adjust it for 85 or 90, about 86 or whatever. So I'll go, it's 105, 85, I need to take 20 mil off, divide it by 2, so I'm sighting 10 mil down off the fork tip. And I just do it I just do it automatically. I don't even think that hard about it. It just happens. Like, oh, it's a 95 mil frame. So I'm just going to be visually sighting 2.5 mil down off the frame tip.
Nice. So you got a system. You got a system. That's it. It works.
I got a system and it works, and it stops me from being vendor locked. Being locked into that. I can only buy frames at 85 mil because everything else I'll shoot like crap. It's like, I'll shoot more comfortably and immediately with a certain frame width, 85 to 90 mil. But every fork width is manageable as long as I mean, look at this monster. Did you ever see this one? I don't know that I ever showed you this. You might have seen it on someone else's video.
Oh my goodness. That is insane. Did you make that?
Yeah. So this was my first forage into how can I test before I drop money on the slingshots I showed you, right? Before I bought those, I'm like, that's a lot of money. If I'm buying I'm going to support an Australian builder, and I'll get them to make me a custom natty, and it'll be really beautiful, and I'll buy it, but it'll cost me. I was like, oh my god, that's going to be over 100 Australian dollars, which to me was shocking for a slingshot. I was like, $100 for a slingshot.
Yeah.
And I didn't go out and cut a tree fork, which I should have done, mainly because I couldn't think of any way to attach rubber bands to it. And I was not in a world where flat band latex or tubes were easily accessible. I didn't know where to get them. So I just went and bought a bag of rubber bands from Officeworks, chained them up, went down to the hardware store, bought some carriage bolts, and a couple of steel T plates, which, funnily enough, are like 100 mil wide. So where the risers are is 90 mil. I didn't even realize, but I was inherently just building something that felt right, and I built it at 90 mil. These are beard beads that I had lying around from when I used to have a double D's beard.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you photos, and then you can properly laugh. It's not a good look. It's good look for you, D's. If you're still here, brother, I will never bag the beard, because the beard is a thing, and there is something about having that beard to stroke. And D's knows what I'm talking about. That whole I am a wise wizard. I am a wizard amongst men. You are mere mortals. Just sit and stroke my beard and look weird. Anyway,
I had a pretty accomplished beard at one point too, and I miss it.
I occasionally miss it, but I don't really. It's just it goes a bit thin and a bit split. I go like a bald patch in the middle of my chin, and I just get like it always ends up forked and split. I end up looking like Dimebag Darrell from Pantera or something.
I kept catching mine in my zipper when I was ice fishing, and I was like, okay, that's it. This thing's gone. It's gone.
That's so annoying. There's only one other thing that you can get caught in a zipper that's worse, mate.
One thing.
And we've all done that as well. So, and anyone who says they haven't is lying. So anyway, I built this up with little like circular bolts, got a Dremel just cut through the top.
Man, that thing is crazy.
Stretch and drop, and then you've got the, you've got a short draw. If you're feeling like the bands tension is, and obviously this is incredible. I mean, this would chuck half-inch steel. It's so overpowered. I was shooting clay at a piece of cardboard that was the size. It was one of those packing cardboards for a piece of office furniture. So it was like 6 foot tall and like 3 foot wide or whatever. And I stuck it up on the side, and I just drew. I did like this basically. Just got a Sharpie and drew a target on it that was about this wide. And I just stood there and I just firing clay at it, and the clay was going right through. It's just ripping straight through multiple layers of cardboard, and they were going all directions because it was just I didn't know anything about overpowering ammo or tuning bands for ammo weight or anything. So I'm firing these 1 gram projectiles with this thing, which has like, I don't know. Currently, this setup is, I don't know, something like a 12-pound drawer or a 14-pound drawer. It takes all my effort to draw that back short draw for 30, right? But then you can turn it round
and get some extra light.
Get an extra like 200 mil of extension, right? So that's seriously, that's 3 lots of double banded chain with a single band at the end. So it's like a pseudo taper. So I was experimenting with pseudo tapers. I just kind of started to go down the rabbit hole. My brain, mate. So anyway, I built that, and I thought that was quite. But what it proved to me was that I could hold something like a hammer, and I had the strength to leverage against my thumb and the other problems that I have. So once I proved that, I was like, okay, I can do that. If I can do that with that thing, which is really not very comfortable, I mean, this is just electrical tape, then I can definitely do it with a slingshot that's designed to fit in my hand and be comfortable.
Yeah, something more ergo and fits better. It's kind of rounded edges.
That's the terrifying home-built Dark Destroyer.
I freaking love that.
I never shoot because
cool.
It terrifies me now.
Yeah.
But the irony is I probably would be reasonably accurate with it now. I just haven't used it, and I don't. You shoot it, gangster. I guess. Yeah, I might give it another go sometime. There we go.
Cool.
Anyone wants me to shoot the everyday carry? That's what I'm going to call it now. Al, it's my new EDC. It's the most ridiculous everyday carry ever. So. This may at some point, should I ever achieve some level of YouTube fame and fortune or fame and fortune of any kind, this is the thing that would go up for waffle. This is going to be like
the beginning of Slingshot Down Under.
Because unlike other people in the community, everyone says the same story, right? Everyone, it's like, oh, how did you get into slingshots? Well, when I was a kid, I had that Daisy wrist rocket, or I had that whatever it was called, right? I never had one of those.
Yeah.
I was never allowed one. Probably because I would have been absolutely lethal with it and caused chaos. But I was never allowed that. What I had was, I remember having cap guns.
Yeah.
Right? With the coil, with the paper coil, not the plastic ones that were louder. Oh God, no, they were really luxury. If you were allowed them, I just used to have you'd have a pocket full of red rolls of paper, and they'd get damp, and then you'd have wasted all your ammo because you'd fall over in the mud or something, and it would soak into it and be like, all my ammunition is destroyed, and it would only fire every 8th shot or something. You'd be like, click, 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 pop, click, click, click. So that was my childhood growing up. And bows and arrows, but not proper bows and arrows. The ones
you made out of stick. Yeah, all the suction
and
ones.
The rubber suction cup ones. Anything you could make out of sticks or stones or anything like that. Like, so if I probably at some point got a Y-shaped stick and tried to attach rubber bands to it somehow.
Yeah, may have been
tried to fire a stone off a rubber band,
Yeah.
And had it flip back and hit me in the face or something. I was like, oh, enough of that. So that was my entire experience of slingshots until I got into it like 14 months ago again.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. So until then, zero.
That thing
zero
is so
slingshot.
cool. Yeah.
But I did shoot Longmore target rifles. So in my teens, at school, in the school club and stuff. So,
Oh wow! Oh, they actually taught that out there in your school?
No, but it was one of the. I went to a very posh school.
Oh,
so it was like we shot at Bisley, don't you know? Royal Bisley.
yeah.
So yeah, I was shooting at 300 to 800 yards generally. Steel sights, prone steel sights, no rest, just a strap, prone, 300 yards, steel sights, 7.62 long cartridge.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, and 2.2 percussion, rimfire, short cartridge. 2.2 short cartridge. So I did a lot of target shooting, and that's what made me want to get back into this. That and my brother sending me a picture of, look what I just bought, and then he sent me a picture of a tactical crossbow, and I'm like,
nah.
Why do you need a tactical crossbow for? And he went, oh, a zombie apocalypse. I've got a very interesting moth has just entered my house.
Future honey, what's up?
It in the room so it doesn't just get out of this room. That's because I've got no insect screen. That'll be because I removed it. And that's because it's right there. And now there's a moth on the wall. Right.
That's the worst.
Nah. Well, no, not in Australia it isn't, mate. If there was a drop bear on the wall, we'd have a problem.
Yeah.
But so anyway, yeah, that's the quick capsule review story of Adam getting back into this, was wanting something with that focus, with that precision, the micro focus, that hyper focus thing. I wanted that.
Love it.
The stuff I used to get from the target shooting, I wanted that, but in a way that it was not going to cost me huge amounts of money. I wasn't needing to license my weapon, and I wasn't going to have to spend. I mean, like just ammo alone. I just couldn't envisage a situation where I was going to be comfortable burning through hundreds of rounds of ammunition.
Yeah, and you have to do that really to get good at it. So it's so it's much better.
So I looked into archery and even the lightweight like recurves, because I'm not interested. I'm a bit like Paul. I don't know that compound was ever interesting to me. It feels like a kind of slightly pointless machine, and I'm sorry for any archers out there who love their compound bows. That's cool. For me, the idea of a bow is that you take the stored energy in the bow, you resist that, and that's what throws the projectile. Not, I have this contraption here with a metric shit ton of pulleys and levers and gears that basically take my 20-pound draw and turn it into a 200-pound draw.
Yeah.
I can chuck a 89 grain projectile at whatever, I don't want to be, I don't know, it feels wrong. I'm like, just get a gun. It doesn't feel right. It's like,
in my case, I've got both. I've got a recurve bow, and I've got a compound.
Okay.
I like the recurve bow. I had more fun shooting that. But I found for hunting, when I went and got all my hunting permits and all that stuff, I wanted to go towards a compound because it would increase my range with accuracy, which is basically what I was thinking of. Because really anything over like 35, 40 yards with a recurve bow, I wouldn't even touch it. And it was like, man, I don't want to have to be within 20 yards of everything. I'm just wasting my time out there if that's the case. So I ended up going for a compound. Compound brought me probably up to about 55 yards or meters, actually, which was much better. And I had a much heavier pull. Like my recurve was about 40 pounds.
Okay.
Maybe 42 at my draw. But the compound bow was a 70-pound draw. It was a 70-pound draw, but when you get into your position, your let off was only about 15 pounds. So you could hold that for a long time. It's almost like a heavy setup for a slingshot. But I didn't really find it as fun to shoot. Like it just wasn't.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I mean, you know, I'm being slightly kind of facetious, I guess. I get it. I mean, I get the mechanics of it, but it's exactly what you just said. It just doesn't seem like,
Yeah,
I guess, you know, tool for purpose, right?
yeah,
It's that
and
whole thing of like, you know, I'm thinking people getting caught up in this. You know, why aren't I getting the speeds I want out of these? Yeah, I'm like, what are you shooting? And they're like, oh, I just shoot paper targets. It's like, is the projectile traveling flat over that 10 meters? Yeah.
yeah,
Do you care then? Do you care if it's going 220 versus 270 versus 380? Like,
yeah,
it's going from A to B in an imperceptibly fast period of time from our perspective. It's hitting, like, once you're going over 200 mile an hour, mate, like, really, does it matter? 200
no,
mile an hour, 202 mile an hour, 205 mile an hour. It becomes this kind of anal obsession with cronying and checking. And
yeah.
oh, and
I,
I had a thought the other day I want to run by you, but what were you going to say?
yeah, I was about to actually stop doing the band testing because of this. Because a lot of people were saying that, you know, like, oh, how fast is this one? How fast is that one? I need more speed. You know, like, dude, it's not about speed. The most important thing out of all those band testing, and anybody watching this should really listen to this. The
Yeah,
most important thing to get
yeah.
from that band
Listen to
speeding,
the man.
the most important thing that I'm trying to get across on that is finding the lightest draw for a good speed. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
fast. It's got to be the
Yeah, yeah.
lightest draw. The more stable you can hold this position, the better. If it's heavy and your hand is doing this, you're not hitting anything. You're not hitting
Yeah.
anything. And I know there's always going to be people that are going to argue about it, but the more stable, the lighter draw with the speed that you actually need to hit your target at whatever range you're shooting at is what you should be going for. So the most
Correct.
important thing that I do in all of those band tests is actually the draw weight. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing.
And I bought one of these specifically so I could test it, because I thought, well, you know, for the sake of $8 or whatever this was, Australian, it's
Yeah.
helped me realize that things that I thought were heavy actually aren't, and things that I thought were light actually aren't, and work out, like, because it's actually quite difficult to tell until you notice the wobble. You don't notice those micro differences, but I have been noticing that, you know, it only takes a couple of pounds of draw weight for me to start affecting my accuracy.
Yep.
So, you know, my happy space is between 5 and 8 pounds, right? And I can't go over that really. If I start going up higher than that, it's just pointless. It is.
No, me too.
I just know my mechanics, the mechanics of my body are such that I'm not doing myself any favors. And I can weight train and I can get stronger in order to be able to hold heavier bands. But then you get into the thing of like, well, what are you firing? You're still firing 8mm steel. You haven't changed your ammo. You're not hunting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hunting wascally paper targets and spinners and wiffle balls, wascally wiffle balls. All right. I mean, I don't need to be getting a headshot or a kill shot. You know, I'm not trying to be humane to the wiffle ball. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a wiffle ball or a can, and I just smack the shit out of it until I run out of ammo. So unless I'm actively trying to see, oh, let's see how heavy I can go with a big ammo to see penetration on this block of something I found in the backyard or whatever, that's different. But that's, you know, just general shooting. If I can get 8mm still going flat over 10 meters, 10 to 15 meters, I'm happy. I don't really care
Yeah.
how fast it's going.
It's plenty. It's
It's
plenty.
interesting to know, but it's not a requirement, you know.
No.
I would much rather have it not slapping the back of my hand, or being accurate, being able to hold it and not feel tired after I shot 30 shots.
Yeah.
Right?
And not
If I were
having it so
hunting,
heavy that you ruin your release. Because that's the
yeah,
biggest thing. You're holding it like this, and you have to force so hard to hold on to it. When you try to release it, your release is never clean. If you
and
could just if you could just grip it
that was
enough
another
to bring it,
problem.
yeah, it's a big one,
Yeah,
you know?
I was definitely a big problem with this one.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. Yeah.
The grip of death, you know, and then I go
You're tugging
massive
on
like speed bump, and it would fly off 6 foot off one direction.
and I think that's probably why I have a hard time getting on with tubes. I find a lot of tubes for the speed that you get for the draw weight, it doesn't really work. Like I've had some 1632s that I've tested. 1632s, I'm lucky with 8 mil steel if I'm breaking 200 feet per second. That's quite slow. Yeah, with 8 mil steel. So I'm getting around 200, 205, you know, and that's with a pretty much maxed out single tube band set.
Single band, yeah.
Single
Okay.
band.
So it's not looped through the
Not
pouch and then
it's a
coming
single
back and you've
band.
got double band.
Yeah. But even at that, the draw weight of those single tubes is somewhere around 7 or 8 pounds. So when I'm doing a full stretch, a full draw, I'm around 7 or 8 pounds, but I'm only hitting 200, 210 feet per second in around that range. So that's pretty heavy for a single tube. When I loop them, it's not quite double the weight, but it makes an increase in the weight for a little bit of extra speed, not that much. So I went to 1636. I tested those. The other day I was out here and I passed a few through the Crony with the single tubes of 1636, and I got 215,
220.
Yeah, 220, somewhere around there. I was still getting drop at 10 meters at my catch box, so I had to aim a little bit higher, but my weight was still a little bit higher than what it should have been on a single tube setup. With a loop, it makes it worse. I tried 2040s yesterday. The day before the rain.
You didn't learn, did you?
No, screw tubes.
You just were like, oh, surely there is a weight of tube that will give me the response I need.
There's got to be a way to crack the code, and I can't. Not without really increasing the weight to a ridiculous amount. So, I mean, tubes are fun because I can shoot them in the wind, and all that part of it's great.
You don't get that like flutter against your cheek, and
no vibration.
Like I can full moth, you know, with this. I can definitely full moth with this, and that's 1636 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
maybe long draw because you got more time to accelerate, right? It might be better with the long draw.
And I find this green. JB was right about this, and actually I haven't looked at the chat recently, but anyone else here? Yeah, but anyway, I'll catch up with the chat in a second. But this was the green versus the red, and this is the sniper sling, obviously. Well, I say obviously, maybe not obviously, but it is. It's the sniper.
Yeah.
So this stuff feels more flabby than the red. It feels like it feels this to the red is more like for me is more like Simple Shot latex versus some of the Chinese brands, the other Chinese brands.
Okay.
Right. You know how some of those Chinese brands have got, you know, like Precise and so on, and Sniper Sling have more of a snap to them. They're like more whippy. And Simple Shot latex has always felt very kind of like boing, you know, it just feels like it's got this consistent draw and a consistent release. It just kind of powers through the shot. It doesn't do that snap.
Yeah, that crazy retraction.
This feels the same to me, but the red doesn't. The red feels snappy, even though it's thinner. And so I'm getting roughly the same speed out of them. And kind of similar draw weights, not hugely different draw weights. Even though these are thicker, the red still isn't massively lighter than this, even though it's thinner. So this is comfortable, and I have shot it short draw, but you're right, it really only works with clay for me, short draw. Long draw, it works a bit better for steel, but it's just a fun diversion, and it's something different. And
pretty much that's what I use my tube shooters for, is for shooting clay. That's pretty much what I
don't have a tube shooter per se. So I have this like in a frame that's drilled for tubes, and I have other ones that I can use it with, like the Unifox. I can take the clips off and use it. But at some point there's a dedicated tube shooter coming my way. Ethan. He's got to still be here, isn't he? Ethan, tell me you're still here. Tell me you're still here and that I'm taking the piss, mate. I don't know. He'll come up in the chat and he'll be like, curse you.
ATO slings, you made me try try some. I just bought Sniper Sling Yellow 0.5, the lightest I've ever used. Loving them so far. Fantastic bands. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so the 0.5, I've never had the 0.5 because when I ordered, I've got Precise 0.55.
Yep.
I've got Sniper Sling 0.45.
4.5 or 4? I
Sorry,
thought
0.4.
0.4. Yeah, it's good stuff though.
Yeah. So
Nice
0.4
light.
Sniper Sling, 0.55 Precise, 0.45 Omega White, 0.55 Omega White. So I just don't have any 0.5 latex at all. Everyone else, mainly because everyone else is buying it and shooting it, and I always miss out. But no, I just kind of, and I just changed the taper. So I just do everything else consistently.
For me, if I'm not shooting Omega Slings, I'm shooting Sniper Sling. That's they're two of the best. They're two of the best bands that I've ever tried.
Yeah, Sniper Sling 0.4 was very, very comfortable for me, but it is really light.
It's light.
It certainly struggles with 9.5 unless you're maxing out the taper, so you're going like 24 to 16 or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't really like those big broad tapers very much. Most of my frames don't have fork tips that are wide enough to take that, and something annoys me about the latex wrapping around the frame.
Oh, I don't like that either. I don't like that either. But I have a couple of tapers for all my light elastic. I use 22 to 14, and I've gotten good results with that so far. My 0.45 right here that I got on my Aries is my 0.45 Olympus Green. I use 22 to 14 on this, and I use it on my Sniper Sling 0.4 also. Works great.
Okay. Yeah, I use 20 to 12 with the 0.4, mainly because I don't have, I can that will work with most of my frame tips.
Yeah, I used to do 22 to 12 back in the day. I got really good speeds with them, decent draw weight. Everything was good. I just found that having the 12 at the pouch end, they tended to on the thinner latex, having a thinner taper. They used to break a little bit quicker at the end, so I beefed it up by 2 millimeter on my template, and it seemed to help quite a bit. So that's the only reason. Yeah. But before, 22 to 12 was my go-to.
All of these that I cut the other day, they're for the long draw. They're all they're either 0.45 cut 18 to 12, or they're 0.55 cut 16 to 10.
Oh, nice.
But that's the long draw. But that's Ethan's influence.
Yeah.
He's got going, 16 to 10 will be fine, mate.
He's got a lot of good tips, that Ethan, eh?
Yeah. And then, but like all the heavier stuff, previously I used to cut, all my short draw stuff has been 20 to 12. I just kind of settled in on that. But this, for instance, is, I think, 18 to 12. I think that's Precise 0.55. So,
oh, nice.
So I'm probably overpowering this clay as well, which is probably not helping. But I wasn't meant to be shooting this one. I stopped shooting this one. Where had I got to? I got to this one. Never shot this one. I never got around to it.
Ooh. All right, so let's take a couple of shots.
Yeah, I got distracted by the chat as well. I'll get back to that. Ooh. There's a big old snap. Snap makes a big noise. So it's probably, again, overpowering the clay.
Actually, I'm going to move this over just a little bit. I'm not running with my target.
Now that it's past 11 p.m. here, I'll have to wait and see how much it's annoying the neighbors.
Oh yeah, it's true. It must be really late there. So 11 p.m. What time are we here? Must be coming up around.
It's 11:35 here.
Yeah, we got 9:35 here. So is that right, or am I just looking at it with my? Yeah, 9:35. So.
What do we got?
So I wonder if there's a time.
Looking at the chat and seeing what's been happening.
I wonder if there's a time where we could work it out where we could both shoot it in daylight. I wonder
Yeah, there is.
There is, eh?
We have to do it, but we have to do it the other way around. So we have to do it my morning, your after work.
Oh, okay, that would work.
So I think around 10 a.m. my time is kind of around. I'd have to work it out, but there is a way to do it. Like, basically, I think it's around 10 o'clock my time is kind of around 6 p.m. your time or something. Or
it's like 14 hours difference, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. 14 hours. So what would that be? Yeah. So 10 a.m. take away. That would be 8 p.m. your time. So yeah, so 9 a.m. my time would be like 7 p.m. your time, I think.
Yeah. And we'd have to do that soon.
but half the year, I'm out of sync because we don't observe daylight savings here in Queensland.
Oh.
So half the year I get an hour. I can't remember whether I get an hour closer to you or an hour further away. I never worked that one out. That's what totally confuses me. But
yeah, I wish they would drop that here. It's so stupid. I can't stand daylight savings time. I really don't like it.
We can work something out, man. I mean, I can always just get up a bit earlier and annoy the neighbours in the morning instead of at 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hitting it anyway. At least it may not be solid hits, but it's a miracle that I'm hitting anything. Quite frankly.
Well, it's good that somebody's hitting something because I'm all over the place today.
What else? Go. What else is in here?
With all the rain we've had in the last few days, and just being busy, I've barely shot, and I've been switching back and forth between pickle fork and regular slingshots, and it's really messing with me.
Yes, you fool. That pickle will kill you, mate. You don't want to do that pickle thing.
No, I really do. It's so much fun.
Don't get sucked in by the hype.
The hype's got two hands on me right now. I can't break free.
Before you know it, you'll be stick shooting. You know, you'll be just there with your little plank, with your single band, with a loop at the end.
I plan on trying that.
Yeah, I bet you do.
As long as it's not high style, I think I'm in.
Yeah, high style stick shooting. That'll be the next tournament event.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's the sound.
I love what Al said about daylight savings. Daylight savings is rubbish. We have electricity. It's brilliant, mate.
Isn't that the truth, eh?
Yeah. Frameless. Okay, Lone Slinger wants frameless. Challenge accepted.
Oh, not for me. I won't touch that. Frameless scares the hell out of me too.
I haven't shot frameless in ages. Let's do that just for shiggles. It won't be many shots, all right? Because my thumb can't handle frameless, and the bands are looking extremely old and slightly oxidized. But we'll see. Oh God, this is going to hurt my thumb. Even if I don't fork it, my hand.
Are you shooting those with tubes? Oh, he's going tubes.
I'm going frameless because I was challenged to frameless. We were challenged to frameless. So, Lone Slinger, this is for you, brother. I can't guarantee I'm going to hit anything except maybe my hand, but I'll give it a go for you. Well, it flung. The thing was flung, and it didn't hit my hand.
Well, that's
it
a
didn't
good
hit
start.
The target either. And because it's dark outside, I have no idea where it went. But I'll give it another go because hey, I refuse to take up too much room, so I'm going to live on the edge. I have no idea where these projectiles are going. I can't see them. But anyway, frameless I did my frameless thing for you. It didn't work, but I didn't hurt myself. So that's a win. I'm going to take the win. You know what? I'm going to do one more shot because then I'll have done 3 shots and hopefully I won't hit myself on the third. Third time lucky. I'm doing this the wrong way.
Let's cross our fingers for him. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe I'll hit myself third time lucky. Something very wrong with me.
Hey, what's up, Tree Fork?
Nah, I have no idea where these are going. But I put my hand. See, look, undamaged.
Perfect.
So, proof that I can do frameless briefly. If it was a can, I probably would have hit something, but 40 mil in the dark, frameless, nah, that's not really my special sauce. What have we got here? Damn, I picked up another slingshot. Got a little bit of long draw fun.
Oof.
Oh, that is racing. That's definitely overpowering the clay.
You have a go-to frame there, Adam?
I do have favored frames. It's very difficult to say. Recently, I've been doing lots, hence all the long draw bands that need tying up. I've been doing a lot more long draw practice. So just to get used to it and get more comfortable with that whole, wow, it's flying past my face at 300 kilometers an hour. Which is a confidence thing. I've realized it's just a confidence thing and it's a form thing. It's exactly the same as short draw. All the mistakes you make with short draw that make it difficult and annoying and frustrating and so on are exactly the same with long draw. It's just different. And once you get that difference down, you know, butterfly kisses become less of a thing and the fear of a butterfly kiss becomes less of a thing. Therefore, you actually get them less. I was getting them loads more when I was worrying about where my hand was all the time. I'm just like, no, find a comfortable position and work it out and then just repeat that movement. So for a long time, my long draw was a bit like Benji's short draw, the elbow, you know? So I would do this. I would do like a circular motion like that. And then drop my arm down and have it just go into that like position.
Yeah, kind of find that sweet spot.
Like that. Now I kind of just do that. But if I'm thinking about it, I still do this kind of weird. Because it's just like it's almost like a little ritualized behavior, and that's part of the muscle memory.
Yeah.
And you're adapting because it's long draw. Everything's floating. You're just adapting everything around that. So recently, that's the one I've been shooting.
Wow, that's so cool.
Which is Christian. Thank you. If Christian's still in the chat. Hey, Chris. Come on. So I've been shooting this one, which is 95 mil frame. It's also dry in the dark. So we'll just charge it up. And then I'll turn off the light. He's not glowing very well. Mainly because there's a hell of a lot of light coming off the...
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of light coming off the computer, obviously.
Wow, that's so cool. It actually looks really creepy when it's glowing.
Yeah, and he charges up real quick, so I'm not quite sure how many rads I'm absorbing when I do this. But I trust Christian not to want to irradiate his friends, but we'll see. Maybe he's bent on world domination and he's just killing us all quietly with radioactive slingshots.
That's all right.
But I've been enjoying shooting this one long draw. For some reason, my natural ritual long draw means that I actually need a 95 mil frame.
Oh.
So I shoot like 95 mil long draw, but more like 85 to 90 short draw.
Oh, cool.
And people say, well, just adjust your anchor point. And I'm like, I've tried that and it still doesn't seem to work properly, long draw.
I had found when I really, like, if I'm shooting short draw with different frame widths, if I start adjusting my anchor point, I eventually figure out that frame, but then when I'm shooting another frame, it's a disaster trying to figure that one back out again. Like it's very important for me to always hit that same spot. And when I'm shooting long draw, like say for the pickle, for example, I kind of started in the same as you, as actually kind of bringing it back this way. Now when I'm bringing it back, I just try to bring that band on my pickle with a 60. Okay. I have to feel it touch like right under my eye here. Yeah. And that's how I'm hitting things right for my anchor. And once I hit this, I just start adjusting with my body instead of moving my arms or my shoulders down. That whole T shape, that with your shoulders and your arms. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that you did in your video about shooting high and low targets.
Yeah.
Right. That was really helpful to me because I'd never really thought about it. I'd always just gone, if I'm shooting something down low, I need to aim in front of it because I'm not going to be. And I never really thought why. I just thought, oh, it's low. It's to do with the distance. I knew that it was the horizontal distance thing, but what I hadn't thought about was the frame, the band tension, right? And so what I did was just learn that if I was trying to hit a can at 4 meters on the ground, I had to aim about 4 inches in front of it.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started consciously going, no, I'll aim at a can that isn't there, and then I'll just tip, I was aiming off my fork tip again. And I was like, duh, why did it take you so long to work that out?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
I got you, bro. It's one of those things that's like it could change your bands this way, but people don't realize it also changes your pouch grip.
Correct.
If you're drawing like this and you drop it down, well, you're now speed bumping your ammo. You're also adjusting your thing. It is possible to do this, but you would have to really, like, I don't know, it's very uncomfortable to adjust it. But anyway, I figured that would have been a fun video.
Doing some of that subconsciously, but because I got okay at it. I was like, okay, if it's between these ranges, I have to gradually aim closer and closer to the target as it gets further from me, and there'll be a point beyond which it goes up above my eye level, and I have to start aiming above it rather than below it.
Yeah.
It was all a bit weird and messed up, and I was like, there must be an easier way. And then Mr. ATO showed me the light. So now I look really stupid when I'm out shooting anything that isn't at eye level, because I just do that whole kind of
get
my
the
little teapot thing. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Oh, that's rocketing as well. I shouldn't be shooting clay with this setup. It's just way too hot.
It's funny.
A really interesting snapping noise.
I had that video drawn out on my in my book for a long time, and I was like, I'm not going to release this. This isn't going to help anybody. Everybody knows this shit. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And then I started getting these questions. Yeah, well, no, you'd be surprised how many questions I got about that. And I was kind of like, you know what? I'm releasing that video. I went outside and I shot it. And I had a great time, actually, outside in the woods, which is my happy place. So I was like, yeah, this is great. But then
that's awesome.
It actually was kind of surprised. And I started thinking, you know what, from now on, even if it's like the dumbest thing ever, I'm going to post it and we'll see. There's somebody out there probably asking.
What's the old adage, man? Like, the only stupid question is the one you never ask, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I used to be a corporate IT trainer, and I just would say that to my students. I'd be like, right now, first day, hi, I'm Adam, I'm your trainer. We're going to be together for 5 days or whatever, or 3 days or whatever it's going to be. Don't not ask questions. Don't go, oh, I better not ask because everyone else will think I'm stupid, or I better not ask because that's a dumb question. I can look it up myself. My job is to help you. Ask questions. I will answer them if I can, and if I can't, then we'll find the answer together, or we'll whatever. But don't just sit there going, I don't really understand what the hell he's talking about, but I don't want to seem stupid by putting my hand up. Because I said, if you're sitting there thinking that, you're all IT professionals. If you're sitting there thinking that, chances are everyone else is as well, and they're too embarrassed to say it. So you're doing everyone a favor.
Yeah, yeah. Ask the
And
question.
sure enough, that's absolutely the case. Whenever anyone asked a question, it was you could always see at least one other person in the room went, oh,
Yeah.
you know?
Thank God he asked. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank God I didn't have to ask, is actually what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an IT guy. I don't have any social skills. I don't want to talk to anyone. Right? It was one of those. It was like, oh God, I don't want to ask a question. That means talking in front of people. Whoa, I don't know where that went. I just heard it disappeared, and then I heard a few seconds later, I just heard this faint pop as it hit something. I think I'm just dangerous with that long draw with this clay in the dark.
You just hear it bouncing around up there somewhere.
That was my third frame, and I know you've got one of them because we've talked about this one before.
Ooh. Oh, that's that sniper. So that's the one that Benji likes, eh?
Yeah, the Mauser.
Yeah, the Mauser. Yeah, I never tried that. It looks really
I
cool.
thought you had one.
No, I've almost pulled the trigger on it like 3 times, and I'm like, I don't know if I wanted to hold one because I'm not really a pinch grip shooter. I have a couple of frames. It's not bad, but I'm wondering if I could shoot it also in brace. I don't know.
It's not the most ergonomically comfortable brace shooter. You could.
It looks like it would work.
But what happens is this little hook kind of sticks in your finger if you brace.
Yeah.
It starts sticking in up here because in order to get around the handle, you have to kind of tuck in, and then this is sticking into you.
Because I've got I've got my GZK Crazy Power Mini that I shoot in brace. My Scout LT I shoot in brace, and my S Robin I shoot in brace. Right. Everything else, in pinch grip. Everything else is in brace. And the Scout LT I kind of flip back and forth because I find it's kind of comfortable in both.
This is not as ergo a frame as I would like it to be.
You find it's a little bit.
It's got that industrial ethos. It's very square and blocky.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks a little bit wide and flat for the. Yeah.
If it was just shaped this side and scalloped a little more on one side, it would be a little more comfy.
Yeah.
If I shoot this, but it's comfy initially, but if I shoot it for long periods, it starts to stress my hand a little bit. But for a very long time, it was I think of the first 3 frames I had, this was the one I had the most success with after I bought it.
Oh, well.
In terms of accuracy.
Yep.
Because it chokes quite high up. And the fork clips, it's got those great sniper sling clips that just
I like the clips are short. Yeah.
And I thought it was a cool design ethos, and I liked the fact it had the little Allen key built into the handle. So I always had them because it's the really narrow type.
Yeah.
So I had all those other ones that everyone has 400 of, but I didn't have one that width on me all the time, and so to have that in the handle meant I always had one.
Genius. Yeah.
It's an accurate frame, but now, like I say, I'm kind of not shooting 90 as much. I seem to be more accurate with it. I've been doing a long draw with the 95, and I've been shooting a lot of the
85,
which is 85.
Yeah.
Short draw. So I don't know how accurate I'll be with this, but it's quite an accurate frame generally. He says, not hitting the wiffle ball. I'm going to check out the chat. Where are we with the chat? JD. Remix. Are you talking about this frame, JD? Who makes this frame? This is a sniper sling frame. So it's the sniper sling Mauser, or sniper sling S96, I think it's called, S96 Mauser.
It's having a good run there.
Paul's talking about frameless dragon tooth attachment. What's a dragon tooth attachment? Which attachment are you talking about, Tarson? You said dragon tooth attachment. Are you talking about the one for tubes? Like the looping tube attachment, like on the Medusa? I think we've totally lost track of the chat, Mark. I don't think we know what the hell's going on in the room. It's like it's literally like we've thrown a party, everyone's turned up, they're all having fun at the party, and we've gone, do you want to sit outside with a beer, buddy? We'll just how about we go to the pub? Right? And then we fucked off to the pub and left everyone in the house just chatting.
Yeah.
They're making toasted cheese in your kitchen, you know, we're not even, you know, they're having egg breakfasts and talking about stuff. I'm glad they're having fun. I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
Yeah, they seem to be having a good time, though.
Yeah, I'm now going to have to wait over a day to find out all the shit that people were saying about us.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. We're just going to sit here and watch you have fun, okay?
Okay. Boom.
Yeah, that dragon tooth. I'll have to look it up. Oh. It's actually quite.
Wall has just died.
It's actually quite cold out here today. It's crazy.
It looks really beautiful there at the moment, huh? But I am noticing that is that roof
sunny
above you? That's a fabric roof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep watching the ripples happen, and I'm like, oh, the wind's picking up.
Yeah, the wind's been pretty brutal, and I still got some rain trapped in this thing here. Look at this.
That's always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun.
I just get the rain off the top here, and there's always someone standing at the edge, and they don't realize, and you're like, whoop, and it just.
Yeah, it's always done by accident, you know.
Yeah, that's it. You're just like poke, and then someone goes.
Yeah. I totally didn't see you there. I swear to God. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yep.
All these band sets are a little bit hot for play at the moment, I think. But no, I give up on that frame. One hit out of 4 or 5 shots is acceptable for me at this time of night. So, where am I going now? Oh, I haven't checked this one.
Ooh, what do you got there?
It's not very clear. The color's not very clear, but.
Oh wow, it's nice.
The drop shot. That's the one that my friend bought kit nicely for me.
Oh no. Are you able to clean it up at all with some sandpaper or anything, or?
I could if I spend the time, mate, but it's just I've got rid of all the rough burrs. Like I took the edge off with a little bit of kind of whatever 800 grit or something.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it damaging bands or anything.
That's it. And to take it down and reshape it will mean that it's got a totally different profile just at the band groove compared to the other side. and that'll trigger me. So then I'll have to do it the same on the other side, and then the band groove won't work quite the same. And I'm like, oh, you know what? It's like, if I didn't want it to get fork hit, I shouldn't have put it in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
Or
Hey,
I
Adam,
should never shoot it.
I just want to let you know, I just got a notification. I've got like 15% battery left. This thing may just crap out on us at some point.
Feel free to call it whenever you want, Mark. I'm totally,
We'll take a few
I'm
more
easy
shots,
brother.
I guess, and a little more chat. And if once I get to 10%, I'll have to call it because it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, and we've totally ignored the chat. I think we should take a few more shots and then at least read back through the chat and go,
Yeah,
oh my God, they really were talking about us.
Yeah.
It's difficult when you can't see the ammo.
I'll get one more good hit and I'll have a little chat.
String there. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe I'll just be a bit more instinctive about it. Who knows? No, that didn't help. That's where I know randomly into the darkness. There we go.
All right.
So
let's see what we missed.
About couches and stuff. So, my favorite pouches right now. My favorite pouches are.
There we go.
These ones. I'm really liking these. I think someone referred to them as the bra pouch the other day.
Oh, that's the chain ones from Sniper Sling?
Yeah, Sniper Sling chain pouch.
Yeah.
Pit pouch. And I just find them to be unobtrusive.
They're nice, eh?
I get a good grip on the ammo with them. Minimal pouch, maximum return, and that's what we like. I'm finding that I like as little pouch as possible these days.
Yeah. I've been shooting these guys from Omega Slings, these microfiber pouches. And
Right.
I've been liking them quite a bit. I used to shoot the leather kangaroo leather pouches for a long time. I find the breaking in period can be frustrating sometimes. So it takes a little bit of time for them to soften up and really start getting nice. But once they break in, they're gorgeous.
That's the most overused kangaroo pouch ever.
They just keep going, eh?
That was the first pouch that's the pouch that came with the first Slingshot I bought.
Oh wow.
And I haven't used it a lot since I've been using pit pouches, but it's looking far worse than it actually is. Like you could still comfortably shoot 9.5 out of this for another few thousand rounds and it's not going to disintegrate.
Yeah, no problem, eh?
And it's paper thin. It's literally paper thin and it's super tough.
Yeah.
But hey, kangaroos, man.
Yeah.
Skippy.
They're tough.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Don't mess with roos. Like you get one of them come up to you and do this.
Yeah. I've seen that video. I've seen that video with that kangaroo just freaking out at some lady's window. You can see the reflection. Yeah. Comes up all puffed up.
And the big reds out in the outback with they're just ripped.
Oh yeah. It freaked me out.
And everyone goes, "Are you really that ripped?" And you're like, "Yeah."
I never realized they were shredded like that. I had no idea.
Big red males, like the red kangaroo, the big males are all like that.
Oh,
Greys, not quite so much. They're not quite so muscular and they're not quite so big, but they're still big and they're still pretty scary if they get pissed off.
Yeah.
Like I would not take a kangaroo. I wouldn't even take a small kangaroo on.
No.
I wouldn't take a wallaby on. They're like, hey little fella, you just do your thing.
Yeah. That's it.
Strange hopping rats.
The upside, they taste like chicken, huh?
Well, it doesn't. What was it? Everything tastes like chicken. No,
Yeah.
tasty wheat. Maybe tasty wheat tastes like chicken.
Yeah. Yuck.
Little Matrix joke in there, everyone. So I didn't even break open the Tim Tams. I was going to do a Tim Tam slam for everyone. So, but I can't do that now. It's too late. I can't keep everyone on while I go off and make a cup of tea.
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
But it's a thing. I mean, you know about it?
Tim Tams? No, we've never seen
These
those
are,
either.
these are particularly luxury Tim Tams because I
Ooh.
fancied getting the double coated chocolate one. But basically, if you get a Tim Tam slam, you get this, you bite the ends, both ends off, and then you
Give
get
it
a
the
cup
dip.
of tea and you use it as a straw.
Oh, wow.
So you suck the tea up through it, and the secret is and then you shovel the whole thing in your mouth before it disintegrates and flops into your cup.
Oh.
So that's the skill, is getting enough tea through it to make it totally like dunked, but not enough to have it disintegrate melt the chocolate outside and have the whole thing just structurally disintegrate and end up a sludge in your cup. And when you Tim Tam slam, so I got Ethan to Tim Tam. Ethan will back me up on this. He did the Tim Tam slam. I sent him some Tim Tams, and his whole family reckoned it was pretty special.
Pretty good, huh?
More special than Vegemite. Although he's coming round to the Vegemite thing now.
Yeah, he said that's actually pretty good, but you got to put it on like super thin, like read a newspaper through it thin. It's what he said a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Well, that's something else I can do at some point. Like we'll do another one, and we'll do cooking with Adam and Mark, and you can do your barbecue steak thing, and you can be smoking something on the barbecue, and I can be making Vegemite toast step by step. You know, veggie toast 101 for the uninitiated, right? Veggie toast, Tim Tam slams, speed taquito eating. You can come up with whatever crazy culinary options you want to do.
Why not?
More and more, I'm getting people go, can you send me an Australian food care package? Right? I really want to. I want to try all these things. You talk about them all the time. I want to try cherry ripe too. Why does Ethan's wife get to eat it and no one else does? It's not fair.
Yeah.
I'll pay postage. People are getting desperate now. They're offering me money to send them. And I'm like, no, it's a gift. I can't. That's why you've got to wait for it until I've got the money to send it.
Yeah.
If you send me money, I'm just a retailer. I'm just like I'm the middleman in some sort of international retail Ponzi scheme. You know.
Yeah, Ponzi scheme. Oh, yeah, okay.
Buy into my cherry ripe.
I'm right at 7% there, Adam. I got a boogie. It's going to shut right off. Thank you so much, dude. It was a blast.
We made the 3 hours, brother.
We made the 3 hours. It was freaking awesome, dude. I had a great time.
Awesome, mate. I'm so glad.
We got to do it again.
To see everyone in the chat as well, even though we paid no attention to them whatsoever.
Yeah.
They know we love them.
We love them.
We'll actually pay. We'll pay more attention to you guys at some point. I keep looking away because I'm reading comments on the screen here, and there we go. There's everyone's happy faces and chat. I just proved that I wasn't just being rude. So I am paying attention, but not.
Yeah.
So bless you all for spending time with us. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir, for your endless time for people like myself and the liaising of stupid time zone crap.
Oh, okay. I got a boogie. Sorry, everybody. Oh, no, I can't even see it. Okay. Take it easy. Love you guys. You're freaking awesome. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Oh, no.